Here we are then, round number 4 of the Porsche Heuer Esports All-Stars. And what a venue we have for you here in the great state of Texas. And well, it should provide us some plenty of thrills and spills. And we've also got a brand new car for you for this round of the All-Stars. Paul Smith and Arjuna Kankapati once again here for all of the action. And Arjuna, the All-Stars, they get to switch cars and have a brand new challenge to take on.
Yeah, we saw Casey Curran finally get his dominance challenged by Lauren Heinrich, but now we mix it up for everyone. Slightly slower car, a lot more nimble, and some may even go as far to claim that the Cayman chassis is superior to the 911.
Oh, you see, you're starting a fire there.
Peter McCarthy is listening somewhere.
And I'm sure the Twitch chat will give us their opinions on which is the better car as well. But that is the venue that we can see right now, and there's the schedule. So for the next 3 rounds of the All-Stars, we do get to see the Cayman, the 718 Cayman GT4 car for Circuit of the Americas, for Red Bull Ring, and then Watkins Glen. And then for Spa, Nürburgring and Le Mans, we get to see the RSR GTE before we round out the championship with the Mission R, which is a spectacular machine to drive. And here, to give you a little bit of a comparison here, Arjuna, is the difference between the 2 cars.
Yeah, now they share a decent amount of bits and bobs. Even the engines aren't too dissimilar, but very much you can think of the GT4 as being stripped down. Lower to the ground, weighs actually a little bit more because it's got less race car parts on it. It's more of a road-going car converted for race-going purposes, but it really demands the most out of the drivers. And with the mid-engine layout here at the Circuit of the Americas, some of the twisty stuff, you're going to wheel it to get the most out of it.
You certainly do, and it is tremendous fun, is that Cayman as well as the 992. Here is the venue that we're at for today. It is a Tilke-built circuit, as I said, in Austin, Texas. I've never been to the venue, but I have actually flown over it on my way out of Austin Bergstrom Airport. 3.4 miles in length, and it's a nice wide open space for these drivers, Arjuna. They're going to have plenty of fun.
Absolutely. The track is from anywhere from 40 to 50 feet wide. We've seen NASCAR come here and stack them 3 and 4 abreast, but it's really that climb into turn number 1 that has got so many people interested. Elevation change here at just about 130 feet. It leads you then into that first sector, winds its way to that long back straightaway. Couple of switchback hairpins before that triple right-hander that is so reminiscent of Turkey's triple left-hander, and then a final couple of corners where track limits are the name of the game.
Well, we see some of our All-Stars just in qualifying right now, and even Love 46 is out the rig, so we're obviously just getting prepared for this race. But, well, the All-Stars, they are going to be facing quite the challenge. Around 2-minute 14, 2-minute 15 laps in out-and-out qualifying pace here. And we've got a new driver along, haven't we, Arjuna?
We got Mr. GoPro Lopez along himself, someone that has been around at the very top of iRacing competitions for, what, over a decade now, and someone that has made some ventures out into some real-world racing, along with the NTT IndyCar Series champion Alex Palou, courtesy of their partnership with BRS. But so excited to see how he'll do in action today.
Well, if you do want to get information about the Porsche Heuer Esports Supercup, then head on over to the website, iracing.com/pest. Get up to date with the schedule, with the cars, with the points, as well as everything else that you would want. But speaking of what we want, well, we want the grid, and it is Pablo Lopez and Casey Kerwin sharing the front row of the grid, with Emily Jones and Tyson Mayer row number 2, Matt Malone and Dan Suzuki row number 3, with Heike 360 and Jardier in the next row of the grid, Love 46 and Dave Cam on row 5, Straddy and Kenny 500 rounding out row number 6. The 7th row is Basie Colley and Borja Zazo and Tony Kanaan at the back of the grid. We're not too sure if Tony will be starting this race. So at the moment, 14 cars getting themselves set for the start of this race. And, well, Arjuna, very, very quickly, Casey Kerwin or Pablo Lopez?
Ooh. Pablo looks quick in qualifying, but Casey knows that he's quick no matter what car you put him in. Don't forget, standing start in GT4, somewhat uncommon. These are cars that traditionally would roll to get themselves underway. very curious to see who's going to be the best at getting it off the line.
Well, we're about to find out. The engine revs will rise. The drivers look to the starter's gantry. And we're underway for action here in the All-Stars. It's a good launch from Pablo Lopez. He's going to hug that inside line. Going into turn number 1. Onto the brakes they go. It's 3 wide in the mid-pack. Running wide is Casey Kerwin through turn 1 with Emily Jones behind. There is Tyson Meyer, who has had to borrow a car from Tony Kanaan here today. Different paint job on his car, so TK's kindly lent him his colours, but he's currently in 4th place, is Quirk, as he runs through this ever-decreasing radius S's. Such a fun part of the track in whatever car you're racing at this venue. It is such a rewarding part of the track when you get things right out there, and they come up over the hill, downhill braking into turn number 11, and it's the exit out of this corner that's going to give you the best run down into turn number 12.
It's a pretty long quote-unquote straight, but it's not straight in most ways. It goes left and right, it goes up and down as well, and you see behind Yardier getting a little bit wide as he gets his way onto the power. We'll see Dave Cam tuck into the toe behind. These GT4 cars don't really have the strongest draft. It's all going to be about who's brave to maybe try and move down the inside in towards turn number 12, or setting up into turn 13. Emily Jones sees Quirk show himself in the mirrors.
Yeah, giving it a good go. Not able to get there, but certainly more battling in that mid-pack. And it is Jardier who's trying to hang on here in front of Dave Cam. Of course, race winner last time out in our main race is Dave. And got himself on the poster as well for this round. Oh, slow down penalty for Dan Suzuki. And that is going to be something that the driver's going to have to be careful about around here. But there's Dave on screen right now. Oh, just having the back end go out on him a little bit. Remember, opening lap of the race, you've got cold tyres to contend with as they're going through. But yeah, Dave right now doing a solid job in 7th place, although he's got a car on the inside, and that is the 23 of Heike 360. But Cam gets a good run out of the corner. They're side by side going up towards turn 1, and we're in the I wouldn't call that a Stetson, but definitely into the corner there is Heike 360 into turn 1 and gets the place over down.
Yeah, the Sheriff has grabbed 7th position for the time being. I tell you what, Dave was having to be so careful through the final sector because Heike was there and squeezing his way on through, and now through the S's, just see the line. Dave slightly compromised initially, and it's allowed Heike to build a little bit more of a separation. All of the fighting that these guys have had, along with a bit of a mistake from Yardier, has dropped them behind the top 5 that have started to break away. But as Dan Suzuki squeezes his way past Dave Cam, 3 cars looking very close at the front.
And you can see how that compromises Dave out of the corner then through turn 9 downhill, and it's just dropping him down the order because Strade has made it through. Hey. And he is Jardier, and he's got the hat on as well, so everybody is really getting into the spirit of things here with this round here in Texas. They say everything's bigger in Texas. Well, certainly when I was out there in 2016, my meal sizes were certainly bigger than I'm used to, that's for sure.
That turtle that we saw there, definitely not the biggest one though, so maybe they're not all big for Yardier, at least for the time being. Look at Casey Curran putting the pressure on. He switched his cars over, and love the exit livery on the machine as well. Got the Team PGZ car in front as GoPro Lopez looks to channel Pablo Castro in a little bit of Macumba magic, at least for the time being. We're not distracting them yet. I have no doubt though that Pablo Lopez is someone that's going to enjoy having a bit of a chat with us while racing with Casey.
Oh, absolutely. It'll be tremendous to hear these guys and hear their thoughts going on. We're coming in towards the end of the lap here once again. Last corner on that racetrack, on the power, out of the final corner, up across the line to finish another lap. And, well, Arjuna, you wanted to speak to one of your drivers, it's Casey.
Well, disturbing Casey Curran early here at Texas, but how are you enjoying the GT4 car, Casey? How does it compare with the car that we gave up a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, it's a bit different. It's obviously got ABS and it's a bit less aero, but it's still very fun to drive, especially around here. It's a pretty fun combo. So, yeah, it's obviously going to be hard to try and get around Pablo here, but we have massive, wide open braking zones, and we can go for big dives here with the way all the hairpins are. So it should hopefully get a little bit spicy if I can set something up on him. So obviously we got Emily with us, Quark's with us too. So it's going to be very racy here momentarily, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm hoping the sends are bigger in Texas here today. But I do have to ask, no Lauren Heinrich to interrupt your dominance in the Cup car. It's a little bit more equal here. Do you just find yourself feeling that Cup car a little bit more, or is this a car where it's just a little bit more equal of a playing field overall?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Cup car, honestly, where some of my advantage was just from, honestly, long run, like, tire wear. I feel like those cars are pretty brutal on tires, and obviously in the NASCAR stuff, that's kind of what our game is taking care of tires and stuff. So I think that's really where my advantage was in that car. But yeah, this car seems to be, you know, a little bit slower, so I guess a little bit more even. But yeah, it's still tricky to get everything right for sure. But yeah, it's gonna pop off here in a minute. I gotta try and set something up here. Well, maybe a dive into one.
You're fighting with Emily Jones, who we bring into this battle now as well. Emily, how are you enjoying
Send it
this
into one.
four-car battle that seems to converge into one, like you say?
I agree with Casey. He should have a go right now. That's what I would love. It's fun. It's very stressful, but it's good. I'm having a good time.
How are the track limits?
Well, it was good until just then, and now. I'm getting them now. But other than that, I've got we got 16 incidents. That's fine. We'll be fine, I think.
7 laps, you can go off the track twice per lap. It's great. Casey, you want to have a go into turn 1 this time?
I'm gonna try.
He's doing it.
I'm trying. It doesn't.
Casey,
I've made it stick. Yeah.
Good effort.
It didn't work, but entertainment, you know.
So where do you think are the best opportunities to pass, Emily, in your mind, as you're watching Casey try and work his way past?
I mean, that looks pretty good just there. I think maybe into the back straight, I think, is probably looking pretty attractive for a bum, I reckon.
Casey, you're going to go for on the back straight this time?
I tried one there. Pablo saw it coming. We're trying. He covered it off there.
Yeah, I'm running the spectator car at this point. It's great.
Yeah.
We got a great camera view with you, Emily. We'll leave you guys be because I think we need to try and disturb Pablo at some point now, because Casey clearly never blinks under the pressure, Paul. We've got to see how Pablo does.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, keep them on the toes there, and certainly give us a bit of fun entertainment. That's what these All-Star races are all about, really. Is showing off one, these beautiful cars. Two, the amazing talent that we've got in the iRacing community. Not just racing community, but also the streaming community as well. As well, Quirk has certainly got a friend joining him in the commentary, in the driver's rig there. So TK, oh, there's Casey making a big dive into 13, wanted to try and get the lead here. Emily's watching on, as is Quirk. Quirk's got to be careful. He could get a run, or he could make contact with Emily.
I don't think Tony Kanaan would necessarily approve of that one, but he's at least watching on in spirit, unfortunately missing in action with some technical issues. Casey's giving this one a good go, but some great defensive driving on display from Pablo, who's just putting the car everywhere Casey doesn't want him to be. They're going to have 3 more laps still left to go at this one. Matt Malone's somewhere in the back as well, keeping a track of all of these contenders. Pablo's got a smile on his face. This is what the All-Stars is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. He's under pressure, isn't he? You can see the slight sheen off of his head. He's really having to work at this one. Down in towards turn number 1 once again goes Casey, but Pablo Lopez, he is all over that one. And this is the thing with this track. You can defend. If you know where to defend, you can certainly hold that car in the right places.
Let's not forget that we'll fully invert the grid for the 12-lap race that we have coming up after this. Slightly lengthier, so it's going to be interesting to see exactly how that's going to play out. Of course, these drivers have to carve their way up through a field of contenders behind who have continued to battle and really not lost too much ground to those at the front. All things considered, Dan Suzuki still behind Heike 360, Basic Ollie and Porsche Zazo. I do think, though, you know, Porsche needs to make a requirement for all of our all-stars moving forward that every week we need something in theme for the track that we go racing at.
Yeah, absolutely. We should make that a thing. I mean, Red Bull Ring, is that going to be Lederhosen then?
Ooh, for everybody?
I mean, that's going to be I don't know if there's some that I would prefer to see not seeing Lederhosen than others. Meanwhile, down in turn number 12, there goes Casey Kerwin down the inside. Can he get the move stuck there? No, he can't, because Lopez is right alongside his GoPro. He's still there, neck and neck. We've also got battling down the field as well between two drivers in the same livery. So we've got plenty of action out there. Porsche Zazo and also Stradi working together, but Casey Kerwin makes it to the front.
Yeah, Porsche Zazo not in his usual ice cream coloured sort of a car, making it a little bit more difficult for us, but working together with Stradi. They're now flying through that triple right-hander. Casey Kerwin, persistent, and ultimately it was a move several corners in the making. Once you got to the outside in through turn 14, it really set him up nicely to get it done through 15 and clear himself now 4/10, but 2 laps still left to go. Pablo's done a great job of being defensive. Now let's see him try and go on the offense.
As they go through that final corner, there is that race between Porsche Zazo and Stradi, and well, it's something that I always try and achieve with co-commentators on a broadcast where it's a bit more relaxed, is trying to make them spit take their drink, and I certainly achieved that with Arjuna here today, but certainly there's fierce racing all the way through the field. It's not just at the front where all the action is happening, it is through the field here. You know, Heike 360, Dan Suzuki, they're together out there on track as well. So we've got plenty of action all the way through. In fact, here is Dan Suzuki on screen right now, who's got Heike 360 in front. And you can see the different lines that drivers are taking. Some prefer to take those wide lines, those wide arcing lines through, and whereas some like to keep it tight. And well, Dan right now is putting the pressure on.
I always get a great look on board with the Apex Racing Academy colors. You just see the way that Dan's not even that committed to going and searching for the draft in front. I'm really curious how it's going to play out, Paul, with the bigger 911 GT3 Cup cars. These GT4 cars are so nimble. It's so interesting watching them dance through some of these tighter complexes. But that 911 Cup car, Casey mentioned tire wear being such a big factor. A lot of the Super Cup drivers have been mentioning that to me in the build-up to this race. They've also been talking about how the factors after rounds at Magny Core and Long Beach, where maybe it was difficult for them to go side by side, there is this opportunity and the reality that we'll see plenty of side-by-side action through the course of the racing here today.
It's going to be a tremendous round. I think this race has got the potential of being the best round of the championship, but we'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, Dan trying his best to get up with Heike 360, not able to get there yet as they come across the line to start the final lap of the race. There's Barney waving the white flag, Casey Kerwin from Pablo Lopez, from Emery, from Quirk, all together, 1, 2, 3, 4 across the line, and a little bit of a gap back to Matt Malone, who's basically been racing on his own, although saying that, he has actually been slowly gaining a little bit here and there on Quirk, but kind of just in his own no man land right now. Chardier, again, enough one with a bit of a gap, and then it's that race between Heike 360, Dan Suzuki. Basic Ollie, he's out there just calmly just going about his business. And then Zazo Stradi with Dave Cam joining the party in that one as well. But Pablo Lopez, I think, is not really able to contend with Casey Kerwin's pace here.
I wonder if tire wear is still more of a factor than Casey was maybe saying, you know, saying that that's where he thought he was finding more speed in the 911 Cup car. But even at a track like this, when you're so it's so important to feather the throttle at times and get onto it early. Maybe that's a bit of a factor. And again, remember, add 5 laps for the fully inverted race that we've got coming up after this one. We'll see plenty of battling for effectively positions in that next race as well. But let's not forget one man in particular, Dave Cam, who really thrilled us at Long Beach last time out. He will be starting near the front of that 12-lap race.
Oh, I tell you what, that race for 10th place is heating up in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen there, as they're going almost 3 wide down the back straight, almost rubbing door panels as they're going into turn number 12. Onto the brakes it goes. Your leaders are coming through the complex. Dave Cam moves up a position but then loses it, runs wide. They're trying their best to fight each other. Zaza and Stradi together out there as well, and more rubbing of paint between the two teammates. Into the braking once again, but up at the front, Casey Kerwin is going to come through the final couple of corners. He's got a nice, healthy 1 second gap between himself and Pablo Lopez through the final corner. Casey Kerwin is going to be the winner here in the sprint race of round number 4 of the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports All-Stars. Still racing going on here for 10th place as well. And can Borjazazo hang on to this one? Oh, there's moves further back a little bit as well, because Love 46 and Kenny 500 were battling away. Across the line they're going. It is Borjazazo who does finish ahead of the rest of them. That was an exciting end to the race there. There is your results then. Casey Kerwin ahead of Pablo Lopez with Emily Jones in 3rd place. Then it's Quirk, Matt Malone, Jardier, Heike 360, Dan Suzuki, Basie Colley and Borjazazo. Stradi Dave Cam with Love 46 and Kenny 500 round out your 14 starters here today. So that is the sprint race of the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Supercup All-Stars, and well, we had plenty of action out there on track, Arjuna.
Yeah, it was a good standing start there from GoPro Lopez to lead them up the hill behind. Dan Suzuki had to check up just to avoid running into the back of some of those in front. We filtered down the back straightaway. It was Dave Cam, the most aggressive on the opening lap. Yardier giving him just enough room, and indeed it was that battle for about 10th or so that really proved to be the most intriguing.
Yeah, they kept themselves busy. Basically got himself involved in all of that and then kind of ended up on his own out there on track. But it was Casey Kerwin making the moves down into 12, then hanging out around the outside of 13 that got him the place. It was a well-worked move and great respect between the two drivers to give each other space as well as they went through there. But that is going to be that for Casey Kerwin as he went across the line to take a victory here in this opening race. And we'll be getting ourselves set for the main race here in the All-Stars. Paul Smith, Arjuna Kankipati here for you today on commentary. And well, we are getting ourselves set for the second race, the main race of this one. So TK, he won't be taking the start. Unfortunately, he's having a few technical problems. That means Kenny 500 is going to have the front row all to himself. Love 46 and Dave Cam with Stradi and Borjazazo. And it's Basie Colley, Dan Suzuki with Heike 360, Jardier, Matt Malone and Quirk. And then your podium sitters, Emery, Pablo Lopez and Casey Kerwin, starting all the way at the back of the grid. We've got about a minute to go here, Arjuna, as the drivers get themselves set. You mentioned it, tyre wear could well be an issue for these drivers in this main race.
Yeah, we'll get a better sense here once we get to that lap 7 marker. That's around where Casey started to open that gap up. And again, remember, 5 extra laps after that, and they are lengthy laps here. Over 2 minutes and 10 seconds, so adding about 10 more minutes of racing. If you've really heated up those Michelin tires, you're in for a bit of a struggle, and you've got to try and be as calm as you can through the course of the middle part of this race.
And could we see another outside chance winner once again, like we saw with Dave Cam last week?
It's easier to defend at Long Beach.
Yeah.
We saw that Casey was willing to really stick side by side, and eventually he got the move done.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. But as I said, it's going to be Kenny 500 all on his own on the front row of the grid. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see him dart across track to hold off the inside line going towards turn number 1. As Arjuna said earlier on, it is a 130 feet climb up to turn number 1 here at Circuit of the Americas. Pleasure to have you all along here. Drivers set for the start here of the main race with Go Green Flag Racing in the All-Stars. Good launch from the front row of the grid, and yes, straight away on the defensive is Kenny 500 in towards turn number 1. Hold that apex through the left-hander, then plunge downhill in towards turn number 2. As they go downhill, Love 46 in second place, Dave Cam, and we've got drama further back because Jardier is dropping down my timing screen. There he is! He's in the runoff. Something has happened to Jardier, but he's all the way down to 14th.
I'm pretty sure it was Pablo who just tried to maybe take it a bit too aggressive down the hill through the right-hand sweeper. 3, maybe 4 wide was never going to work out. Yardier, the unlucky loser. The rest of them streaking their way, though, over the crest and then down to that heavy braking zone, then the left-hand corner. And so important to get your momentum down the long back straight.
Kenny 500 then is your leader right now. With Love 46 second, Dave Cam third place. The race winner last time doesn't get a good exit. Basically had to step on the brakes almost to avoid hitting them, and that's allowed Stradi to get the run out of turn 11 in towards turn number 12 down that back stretch. Absolutely flat out all the way down here, and then hard onto the brakes. You'll see that the nose of the car duck down when they hit the brakes. That's the weight transfer happening on their cars. But through the go still, Kenny 500 at the head of the field as they go through the right-hander at 13. Here, we'll take another look at what happened to Jardier.
Yeah, so just watch the yellow and black car of Pablo GoPro Lopez down the hill, sneaks to the inside. It was 3 wide, and maybe you could argue there was just enough for room, but I don't really think that that was necessarily on. Pablo might be the first to admit that one as well. Nice little 360 though, and Yardier only loses about 4 or 5 seconds.
Yeah, he is sort of loitering around at the back. Matt Malone had to take avoiding action out of that as well, and that dropped him down the order, so that saw him drop down to 13th. In all of that, not a good exit out the final corner. Who did get a good exit? Those Dave Cam. Look at that on the power down the straight. Absolutely great move. A flash of the headlights from Love 46. Not exactly pleased with that necessarily into turn number 1, but Cam giving them opportunity. Oh, very, very close between the two there. But if you give Dave an opportunity there, he will take it.
So I wonder if there was a bit of contact.
Oh!
As Basic Ollie, I think, has turned Stradi around. Second consecutive lap drama in that first sector. And now, in the middle of the track, Borges Zazo, I think, gets involved. Matt Malone on the anchor, so avoid running into them. Rule number 1, when you're in an incident, hold your brakes. And I don't think they followed rule number 1.
Well, Basic Ollie has had to take a tour back to pit road. So that's going to say goodbye to any chances of getting a result here in this main race. But it's the S's that have given us all of the drama here, Arjuna. And, well, somebody who's been involved in the drama, Arjuna, take it away with Dave Cam.
Dave, talk to us about that first race, because it looked like you enjoyed plenty of fighting.
I did. It was great fun. I got well and truly beat up by Dan the Man early on, and then from that moment I just kept going back and back and back, but thankfully towards the end of the race that put me in a really good scrap with those guys at the back. It was really good fun.
We talked about this last time, didn't we? Slower cars, you can get away with more contact. It's sometimes better racing.
Definitely. The draft isn't as strong here as I thought it would be, but it's still pretty strong, but good fun.
In terms of the track itself, though, it's divisive. What's your opinion on the Circuit of the Americas?
It is. I didn't used to like it. I really didn't like it. But when you get it, it's actually got a really nice flow. You just need to watch for those off tracks and sideways at moments. You just need to watch for the off tracks because they can creep up on you real quick.
That was a bit of drifting there. Good car control, and still having to save it. So tyres clearly not a worry.
Not really, no. They do, when they go really quick.
God.
But they're not too bad round here. As long as you keep the momentum and keep it nice and smooth, they're fine.
So you said the draft wasn't that strong. Curious to see how that plays out. Thanks for chatting with us as always, Dave. Good to
Thank you, guys. Cheers, thank you.
We disturbed yet another one of the drivers, and poor guy, I think, missed his apex into turn number 1 as well.
Yeah, he certainly did, but he's got GoPro Lopez right behind him now for company because Pablo has been on a mission to try and get ahead. He got ahead of Dan Suzuki on the start and finish straight, so yeah, some real moves being made. Let's have a look at what happened through the SS last time out then. So this is what happened with Borja Zazo, with Stradi as well. And it is, look to the inside, there's Basie Colin, just the slightest of contact. Around they go, cars go way out of way, and then it's just tagging GoPro Lopez. Lopez is actually very lucky not to end up with serious incident himself.
And I said Matt Malone did a good job to get on the anchors. Well, he did a good job of running the front end of that car into the other cars. It's a good thing that the engine rather is in the middle of that car. But we talk now with another driver, Paul. You're standing by with Love 46.
We certainly do. And well, how are you finding things? Second place right now, but you have got Dave Cam and Pablo Lopez battling behind you.
Yeah, things are good. We're still fighting. I'm just trying to pull away from them while they're fighting.
You look to be having a bit of fun in race number 1, though. You were towards the back end of the field, but it still looked to have plenty of action going on in that race.
Yeah, that's not so easy combo to do with GT4. I'm not a professional with these cars, but we're keeping our pace.
And how do you feel changing from the 911 to this, the Cayman? How are you finding the difference?
Oh, 911 is easier to drive for me, as that's more familiar car. GT4 a bit harder to drive for me. So with the traction, with everything.
Well, we'll let you keep at it. So thank you very much for joining us here in the commentary booth. So there we go. That is 46. As right now, Pablo Lopez trying to make the way past, and does make his way past into second place. I do think we need to distract him at some point in this race, Arjuna, don't you?
Yes, absolutely. I was just nodding my head in fervent agreement, because he's up to second, has left Casey Curran about a second and a half further back with 2 more cars to pass, and GoPro Lopez now setting his sights forward on Kenny 500. Yeah, we're making his life too easy. You've raced against Pablo in the IRX All-Star Series. You know how quick he can be, no matter what car and what surface we put him on.
Yeah, I certainly do know that, as I got embarrassed by him, I must say. But yeah, he's certainly a talent, that is for sure. Did I ever mention that I was a heat race winner in that?
Didn't he win at Barcelona in the event where you won a heat race in the IRX All-Star Invitational?
Yes, absolutely, that is correct. Look, flash of the headlights. I think he's trying to tell Kenny 500, I'm coming for you, and I don't care how far ahead you are. Meanwhile, Casey Kerwin trying to make some moves now on the Love 46. Got Dave Cam as well involved in this scrap. Onto the brakes, and a little bit of a love tap, a little bit of Morse code getting sent by Casey towards Dave Cam. Love 46 to the outside, and Casey's going to try and hug that inside line, get the place, does that, and so moves up a place into 4th place with Dave Cam. Right in front of him is Casey. He is focused forward. He wants to move past and to try and hang on to the back of Casey, of Pablo Lopez. I do notice Love 46 is dropping down the order as well, but Arjuna, you're taking it away with our newcomer to the series.
Yeah, we've let you have it too easy, Pablo. We haven't distracted you yet, and so it's time that we talk to you. How are you doing? Big smile on your face. It's great to have you be a part of our Porsche All-Stars.
Yeah, really proud to be here, to be honest. Thank you for the invites, and let's see if we can get big one.
Been spending a decent amount of time in the US. I saw that you were over at St. Petersburg a couple of weeks ago with the fine guys over at VRS. What's the winter been like for you? I saw you got to go and do a bit more dirt racing in the real world once again.
Yeah, I did win my first race also in the dirt. And it was a dream come true, to be honest, after all these years in the simulator. And I'm trying to get more budget for this year, but it's difficult though.
I like the sound of that. More budget, please. I want to see more of you in the real world. I do have to ask, you've been on iRacing for so long, you've been at the top level of iRacing for so long. What was your, do you remember your first iRacing memory, the first iRacing race that you ever did?
I think the first race was in the solstice in Laguna Seca, and actually I did so many lockups that I had a flat tire.
We all start somewhere at the end of the day. I mean, you like all types of cars. I've seen you race in everything. GT4s now, we'll see you in the RSRs hopefully in a couple of races time as well. Which one do you like the most?
The RSR is epic.
You like the sound?
Yeah.
All right, we'll let you go and continue chasing down Kenny 500. We've distracted you for long enough. Go and get him. So
thank you.
For Lopez, as always, Paul, good sport and being willing to talk with us, even though you could tell he's focused.
Yeah, he is focused. He was a bit out of breath as well, wasn't he? He's working hard at this one. There's Casey Kerwin trying to go around the outside of Dave Cam. Oh, and he's going to have it nicely on the inside for that triple apex right-hander. Nicely done, but Dave Cam is trying to hold it around the outside. Can he get it? No, he can't. So Kerwin is up now to third place. And certainly Casey is on a charge now, trying to catch up to the front of them. Here's a look back now. Something's happened to Quirk. This is into turn number 1. There's Emily Jones making a move. Quirk thought, oh, I can make a move. No, you can't. Dan Suzuki said, not on my watch.
You said something happened to Quirk. I say Quirk did something to himself. If we're being a little bit more accurate, they're going for a move that maybe was never truly on. We're getting to about the halfway mark of this race. Still one more lap to go. I'm, again, very curious how the tires must be feeling. And now I regret that I didn't ask Pablo about that, because I would have been very curious to know what he was feeling at the end of the first race. Casey Kerwin, what, 2-3 seconds back from GoPro Lopez with 7 laps to go. Casey's going to be able to close that gap down, in my opinion. Is he going to have enough time? Because, as the great Murray Walker always used to say, it's one thing to catch, it's another to pass.
I mean, that's not the exact word of the Murray Walker quote. Catching is one thing, passing is quite another. I'm sorry, I grew up on Murray Walker, so, you know, it's a man very close to my heart, and it's 2 years since we lost the great Murray Walker, so anyway, and Love 46, the internet has switched off. Oh. That's why we've lost Love 46. So it was great that we did get to speak to her before that technical issue happened as well. Pablo Lopez makes it to the front.
Yeah, nice and easy as well. 2 seconds the gap to Casey, who's already brought it down by about a full second since the last time we really were talking about that. So I think we'll now see just how quickly Casey's moving forward. Casey, someone that, you know, he'll have his racing driver excuses. I say racing driver excuses. Maybe it's more logical when Casey Kerwin gives us a reason for why maybe he's not as dominant as he was in the Cup car, but always finds a way to be fast.
Yeah, it's more of a raw racing car, isn't it, the Cup car, rather than this. This is very much a what they would call in the old school sort of gentleman racers car is this, the GT4. A bit more forgiveness in it. You've got the ABS, you've got traction control as well. So you know, you've got those aids and assistance to you to be able to work that and to help you out with this one. But Arjuna, you've got the pleasure of speaking to Dan Suzuki.
Dan Suzuki, who's not crashed out and in the wall this time out, which is an improvement from Long Beach, isn't it?
I know, right? It's, yeah, I'm very surprised.
How are you enjoying the Circuit of the Americas? We've seen you be involved in battles basically through the entirety of the racing so far.
Oh yeah, I mean, the track is very challenging. You know, I'm not very good at it, so I tend to blame the track, but it's actually cool. So far it was very nice. Yeah, I mean, I had 71 off tracks in the practice session. But apart from that, it's all good.
71, that's not bad.
Yeah, I tried to top the charts at least somewhere, you know.
I like it. I'm told that you have some sort of charity donation fundraiser going on today. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Oh yeah, that's actually an 8-hour race hosted by a friend, and we are collecting some money for kids that unfortunately got cancer, and it's kind of like a German version of the St. Jude thing. And yeah, so far it's looking pretty cool, pretty good. A lot of money collected, and the race was fun, and yeah.
So where can people come over to track the progress? Twitch.tv/Dan_Suzuki?
Yeah, exactly. I have the overlay running on my channel as well. I will hop after the PASC and the race. I'll hop back in the race to the last stint, and then we'll see where that goes. Oh, Heike coming.
You got to watch out. The deep braking zones as well, so you really can go side by side through a lot of them, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
How much are you going to squeeze Heike here?
Well, we'll try. We'll try. Oh god. Problem is my push to talk button is in a really awkward position.
We'll let you go and enjoy this fight because we're going to enjoy watching it as well. Thanks for being a good sport.
Thank you.
Dad. Really interesting point, Paul. Something to remember if you're competitively sim racing. Put your push to talk button somewhere where you can always use it.
Yeah, absolutely, and don't use an open microphone. You don't when you're on that, because I've had the misfortune of having teammates hearing every breath that they take when they're really working hard behind the steering wheel. So yeah, do have the push to talk set up, but have it in a comfortable location. Here comes Emily Jones on Kenny 500. Led for quite a while, did Kenny, but not able to hang on for the time being because the top three from race number 1 are now in the top 3 of this main race, but it's a reverse order between Pablo Lopez and Casey Kerwin. But Emily, it says 3rd place once again so far with 5 laps to go in this race.
Remember, they ran like this for the majority of the sprint race as well. It wasn't until the penultimate lap or so that Casey was able to actually get the move done. 1.8 seconds has held relatively steady between Pablo and Casey. Casey still looking pretty tidy through the corners, but see how Pablo's car has held up relative to how it held up in the sprint race. I think one thing as well, Paul, that we have seen a couple of times here, again, I'll go back to what I said during the sprint race, is the ability to go racing into some of these braking zones, to be side by side. You said that this may be the most exciting round of the championship. I don't tend to disagree, although that's a bold claim, knowing that we still have Watkins Glen, Red Bull Ring, Spa, Le Mans and Monza still all yet to come.
I think Red Bull Ring was Chaos, wasn't it, last year? But,
yes.
We'll have to wait and see how the drivers get on this year. But yeah, this is certainly got the auspices of having a tremendous round of this championship here in this one, as Emily Jones working her way through that infield section right now, trying to get to Casey Kerwin and to Pablo Lopez. That gap has closed between the front 2 of Lopez and Kerwin, so those 2 are getting closer and closer together here in this race as we go through towards the end of the lap. We're going to be 4 laps remaining when we go across the line. And, well, these drivers certainly are having some fun out there. And speaking of having fun, well, they got involved in incidents in race number 2 at the start there, Arjuna. Take it away.
Yeah, we got Matt Malone, we got Yardier as well. One dressed up for the occasion, one for the hometown race, and they're both different people. Matt, where's your cowboy hat?
Hey, listen, all of America isn't Texas, man. They run their own thing down there. I'm up here in northern Illinois doing my thing in the suburbs. I don't know no fancy hat like that.
You did get the memo, clearly. I mean, Yardier, love it. I mean, what was the inspiration? Who are you channeling here today? Which driver are you channeling?
Well, I'm like a little Czech Daniel Ricciardo today, you know?
Love it. Check Daniel Ricciardo. I mean, in terms of the racing that you two have had, Matt, you had a rather quiet race number 1 in some ways. Race number 2 started off with chaos.
Yeah, I don't know. Jardier is out to get me. He punted me off track totally on purpose. I don't know what he was thinking, but trying to recover. And then I just went full throttle into a wreck. Probably wasn't the smartest thing to do. Now I find myself battling with Jardier. Do I got any damage, Jardier, in the front of my car?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, yeah, that's why I'm not beating you.
Yardia, in your opinion, Circuit of the Americas, I've asked many of the drivers about this. What's your opinion on this? Because in my opinion, you either like it or you're not great at driving it.
I actually, like, honestly, I'm not very good on this track in either of the games, but with the GT cars, especially like GT4 today, is really enjoyable. Really, really enjoyable.
You're someone that likes GT3 cars. Explain the difference to those watching with this GT4 baby brother.
Oh wait, this is like more like a normal street car, you know, like compared to the GT3, which is much more aero and so on, much more power as well. So GT4 is like more like a road car with, you know, like a roll bar and everything. So it's very similar to the normal Porsche Cayman. But because of the less aero, the car, you can work with it so much in the corners, you know. It's like a little touring car, and I love it for a racing like this.
Matt, in terms of track limits, how are we doing so far in this one?
Oh boy, what am I at? 16x? I like to maximize it. Last race I finished with 18x. I mean, if they're gonna give them to me, I'm gonna use them.
There we go, maximizing the track limits if they're given to you. Sounds like you'd enjoy some of the racing we've had here. Enjoy the rest of the race, guys. Thanks for jumping on with us once again.
Thank you, guys.
I'm coming for you, Jardier.
No, we do. That's the same thing.
The best part, Paul, is when I can just zip it and let them go back and forth.
Oh, absolutely. They're the best. You just let them go at it. Absolutely. They can do all the commentary for us in these all-star races. It's fine. I will say that Matt Malone was channeling his representing his nation with his mustache, I feel. It is a very, very, very good mustache. Meanwhile, at the front, Casey Kerwin, you've been saying, Arjuna, throughout this race, tyre wear, wondering how Pablo Lopez would get on in this longer race. Well, Casey is coming to get him.
Question will be, where will he get it done, and will it be the same as what we saw before? Remember, it was at the end of the back straightaway, the run out of 11 into 12, winding through 13, 14, and then finally cleared into 15. It took a while for Katie to get it done. It took 3 laps for him to actually be able to find the right opportunity as well. Got 3 laps to get it done. Pablo's going to be, I think, a little bit more physical in the defense, and you said it last time. He looks like he's working hard.
He certainly is. One thing that will go against Casey, though, is he's got some front-end damage, which will be slowing him down on the straights a little bit. We've seen how, and we've heard from the drivers themselves, how the slipstream isn't the strongest here, so he's got to do all of this in the corners for him to really get this one to work. But if he's looked after his tyres, and he's got that experience from eNASCAR of being able to look after his tyres, then Casey will be rocketing off of corner exits.
Casey's probably got a decent amount of experience in a NASCAR stock car around here, which will give him so much confidence with throttle, what's the word? Discipline. That's probably the best way to describe it, right? Not being willing to go onto the power too early. Having said that, though, I did note on lap number 1, Casey Cohen got very, very sideways on a couple of occasions because I think he expected warm tires in their window. It's not the case, fortunately. Doesn't seem to have done him too much harm.
Yeah, he's certainly working hard, trying to get 2 to go here. So we start the penultimate lap of this main race of the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports All-Stars. It's a pleasure to have you all along to watch this one. Always entertaining, the All-Star racers, and certainly great to be able to speak to the drivers whilst they go along and do their thing out there on track. But Casey Kerwin right now, half a second off of GoPro Lopez. The problem for them is that loitering in the background, you can see her there, Emily Jones. If these two start fighting with each other, Emily will close right on up to them and make it a three-way battle for the lead.
You can see Pablo has led the last 5 laps. At the time that he took over the lead of the race, the gap was about 2.5 seconds. Now, 2, 3 car lengths at most. Casey so deep onto the brakes into 11, initially compromises him, but was able to get it turned and onto the power early enough that he sits in whatever little draft these GT4 cars send out the back of the little rear wings that they've got. It's not going to come on this lap. Casey will get 1 lap to find a way past.
And as he closes underneath that braking then into turn number 12. I've had a few close calls through turn number 12, it must be said, in my racing history here on iRacing. as they come through this infield section, a really tricky section. You can go too wide all the way through here. You get this beautiful sort of drone cam view right now of the action, and you can see the different lines being taken. Wider entry by Pablo Lopez into the initial part of this never-ending right-hander. Getting over to the right-hand side, onto the brakes. Use the curb on the inside of the penultimate corner. Get away with all the track limits that you can onto the brakes. And look at Kerwin again, closing up into the corner, but it's corner exit. He needs to get the run. Start of the final lap of this, the main race here in the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports All-Stars.
Surely this is one opportunity. Use gravity to help you out, but Lopez shuts the door on Kerwin, who gives a bit of a bump to the Team PG's Ed car. Just a reminder that he's there and lurking, dancing down through the S's. It's all just going to be about keeping the tires as cool as possible if you're Casey Kerwin, and keeping as close as you can to set up the opportunity out of 11 and into 12. Once again, it was interesting noting the lines that Pablo was taking. Wider entry seems like the kind of line that might be a little bit more gentle on tires if you're nimble with the car, but at this point in the race, Pablo just trying to extract everything that he can as Casey sets himself up to go for the lead.
And Emily Jones has been closing a little bit on the front too. Not enough to be challenging at this stage, but you never know. If these two come together, Emily could get herself a race win through the left-hander onto the back straight. It's all about that run out the corner, and Casey Kerwin is staying absolutely planted to the rear bumper of Pablo Lopez's car down this back stretch, past where they have the stage for the big music act on Grand Prix weekend. Onto the brakes now into 12. Not making the move for the time being. Time is running out for Kerwin here to make any move and make it stick. Into 13. No, the door's closed on that one. Just a couple more corners to go. Different lines being taken by both of them. Lopez goes defensive to the inside. Kerwin's trying to get the run through. He can try to go all the way around the long way. That's going to be difficult to do. You can do it though. Break in mid-corner for Lopez. Kerwin has to get out of it. And that means that Lopez stays ahead, goes very defensive. Oh, chopping off the nose of Kerwin into corner entry, into the final corner. It's going to be neck and neck between the two of them here. Through the final corner. Kerwin can get on the power a little bit earlier, and it's going to be neck and neck. Is it going to be a dead heat across the line? And it's just Pablo Lopez who takes victory here in the main race of the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports All-Stars.
Half a tenth of a second, Paul, and you could see what it meant to Pablo. Now an all-star winner, not just in IRX, but here in the Porsche All-Star Series as well.
Rest of your drivers, rest of the runners that are still running in this race, considering that it's a nice wide open track. We have had a number of cars retire from this race, but there we go. That's the last of the cars across the line. What a finish to this race. Casey was giving it all as we head into the Bose post-race show. And let's take you through your race results there. So it is Pablo Lopez who does get that win over Casey Kerwin, as mentioned by Arjuna, just half a tenth of a second difference between the two of them. Emily Jones in third place, caught up to them, but just couldn't quite battle with them. Across the line, it was close between Kenny 500 and Dave Cam as well for fourth and fifth places. Heike 360 finishes in sixth place ahead of Dan Suzuki. Then it was Jardier and Matt Malone in 8th and 9th with Quirk in 10th. Straddy was the last of your runners in 11th, and then drivers who did not finish, Love 46, Borja Zazo and Basic Ollie. Let's take a look at what that does to our standings here. Don't forget the top 5 do get themselves a Tag Heuer connected watch in this series, and well, Kerwin 83 points ahead of Emily with Jardier in third. Quirk fourth ahead of Lauren Heinrich, who was one of our guest drivers. Heike 360 sixth place. And well, that was an exciting end to that race. Couldn't get much closer, could you?
All-Stars always set the tone for the World Championship drivers to pick up the mantle and try and go from there. And, well, if that's what we're in for with the World Championship, boy, are we going to be in for a great evening. And we'll have lost our voices by the end of this one.
Yeah, well, let's hope that we don't lose our voices or we're out of a job. But anyway, these drivers certainly did give us some true entertainment out there. But why don't we take it away, Arjuna, with our race winner?
Pablo, you're now an All-Stars winner, not just in IRX, but here in Porsche as well. How are you feeling?
Freaking amazing. I mean, I'm sweating a lot. 180 BPMs in the last lap against Casey, trying to defend him. He was so much faster, but he said he had 19x off tracks. I had. So we were like trying not to tap each other, otherwise both drive through.
You're someone that, like we said, you've raced in the real world in dirt, you've gone in the air, you've been jumping, all of that stuff. It looks like you've been through the most physical experience of your life.
I mean, the races are virtual, but the experience are real, man. I can tell you. This was amazing, and I am sweating a lot there.
Well, you did well here at the Circuit of the Americas, and now we go over to the Red Bull Ring next time out. How do you feel that these GT4 cars are going to race over there?
Even closer than here, because this track has so many corners and a driver can make a difference, but in Red Bull Ring will be more than draft fests, and it will be more difficult to pass, I think.
Well, amazing job, Pablo. Love to see you in the series and can't wait to see you at the Red Bull Ring. We'll go over, though, to Casey Kerwin, who tried. Unfortunately, Casey ran out of incidents, I think is the best way to put it.
Yeah, it was, we had to be a little cautious there. I couldn't resist, apparently, going through the field, just running into people at Apex and getting 4Xs. So I was at like 15X there when I got to Pablo, and then up into T1 there in the last lap, I had 4X'd him, and then apparently we were both at 19. So yeah, I was trying to still battle and go for it, but obviously I didn't want the battle in on an off track though. So, you know, if we got a little argy-bargy still and it ended that way, it would have at least been entertaining. But yeah, it was a fun race. Both races were really, really fun. Coda's a great track. I'm a big fan of it. Obviously, it's one of the road courses that we do on the NASCAR side. So I know it pretty well. But yeah, another super fun race, and good fun with Pablo, and almost had two, but we'll take one in a good battle.
Well, we'll see you at the Red Bull Ring, and we'll grab Emily Jones for a quick chat before we run on over to the World Championship. Double podium, Emily, able to carve your way up through the field. Must have been feeling pretty happy with today.
Yeah, it was good. For some reason, I'm better at this car than the Cup car, so definitely a lot better than the first 3 rounds. So yeah, good.
Bodes well for the Red Bull Ring and then Watkins Glen as well. Congratulations on the double podium. We'll see you next time out in the Styrian Mountains.
Thanks.
Great to chat with all of our podium, Paul, but our All-Stars getting ready to set us up for the World Championship drivers. Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget that next time out, the All-Stars will be racing at the Red Bull Ring, so make sure you join us for that. But at the end of this Buzz post-race show, we will be heading into the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Supercup, round number 4 around Circuit of the Americas, so make sure you stick around for that one right after these few messages.
Yacht chain swinging, clang clang, and it costs a lot. I'm always after Guala, yeah, and you are not bad. Keep on going till you hit the spot. Whoa, whoa, I'm a big bag hunter with the bow.
This is virtual racing with real stakes. This is fine lines, milliseconds, and 200 grand. This is insane. But that's what keeps us coming back for more. The Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Supercup by iRacing, live on YouTube and Twitch.
Well, here we are then at Circuit of the Americas in the great state of Texas for round number 4 of the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Supercup. It is myself, Paul Smith, and our Junior Kankipati as always, and we're joined by a special guest here today. It is, of course, the man who finished second place in the 2021 Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Supercup, Mitchell de Jong. Mitchell, welcome to the commentary booth. And unfortunately, we can't hear Mitchell at the moment. So
Hey guys, sorry, I should be all fixed now. Yeah, super happy to be here. It's been a pleasure. It's been a couple years since I've been on the stream again, so super happy to be here.
Well, it's not a live broadcast unless you have some sort of technical problems happen here. But, you know, these drivers going into this race, whenever it's a brand new track, you know, how hard is it for these drivers to practice for this, not really having any match for previous years?
Yeah, it's a huge task. For sure, I think this is an interesting track for this car especially. A lot of high-speed corners, which is not too pleasant for the tires, of course, so it's going to be interesting to see how they all manage that. Obviously, with qualifying, all outpace whatever you can do, and yeah, we'll see what they do in the race.
Well, let's have a look at what happened last time out when we were at Long Beach just a couple of weeks ago. It is Long Beach, it's California, it's 11 turns, and it is hard work. We got green flag racing, we got cars going side by side into the wall almost, smoke in the background.
Just like this through the fountain.
Pinto is upside down, contact Vico and Violate through the final corner. Simone Maria Marchenov is a race winner. The revs rise, the green flag is out, and away we go. There's a car out of control. Oh, it's a VRS car, and this is exactly what you, the audience, voted for in the track. Oh, there's Zach Campbell. It is. He's into the wall. Now Vecchio goes around at the fountain. What on earth is happening out there?
There's no two ways about it. There's some pretty ridiculous stuff going on right now.
But it's going to be Sebastian Job. Look what it means to the young Englishman.
And so we head to the Circuit of the Americas. First time for these drivers in the Super Cup, but they have plenty of experience in all sorts of other cars around it. Just under 3.5 miles in length, 20 winding turns. Mitchell mentioned high speed. There's some slow speed as well. Tire management, especially in the feature, going to come into play. And let's not forget, 130 feet, the climb up into turn number 1, maybe the most inviting of the passing opportunities, Paul.
It certainly is. It's the one that all the drivers will be eyeing up into that turn number 1. We saw some moves as well down through 12 and 13 in the All-Stars. It'll be intriguing to see whether these drivers can do that out there today. So yeah, these drivers, a real challenge around here, a completely different challenge compared to Long Beach, where it's all 90-degree turns, and it's the adaptability, Mitchell, that these drivers have got to show week on week here in this championship, isn't it?
Certainly. I think if you look at all the different tracks, they've been all quite different. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to see how they get on here. I think this is the first time with this car at this track in the series, so the interesting one. I think the draft will come into play pretty big, which, you know, of course, will aid for some exciting racing.
Now, Arjuna, the last time out at Long Beach, we did see a couple of our championship contenders get involved in a few incidents out there. How do these drivers then adapt themselves into this race and try and bounce back from a disappointing result?
Well, Diogo Pinto, Zach Campbell, I think two of the notable names that really suffered with incidents at Long Beach. And I think the one thing to remember is all the drivers were already frustrated going into that round. They weren't excited about it. The fans had voted for it, and the drivers knew they just had to deal with it. Zach Campbell told me he expected that to be the worst round of the championship. The problem is, you roll on 2 weeks after that, Zach Campbell has been sick as a dog since Tuesday. Says he's jumped into the car for about 3 hours since Wednesday or so. He's not practiced. He's not feeling that great. You got to just saddle up and go again. That's the beauty of all sorts of motorsports, whether it's real or virtual.
Well, if only we had somebody in this room, in the commentary booth, who has a bit of a knowledge about that VRS Commander team. I mean, Mitchell, that is where a team does come into play. When one of your drivers isn't feeling that great and can't put the time in, as we have a look at how things go in terms of our qualifying here. How important is it that the team then rallies around that driver and helps support him, get him up to speed?
Yeah, exactly like you said. It's, you know, that's what a team is for. Got to pick up the pieces. Of course, it's a huge effort to prepare for these races. And when you lose one of your legs to prepare for these, it makes it so difficult. So that is absolutely the worst case for Zach to have that on race week. I've had the feeling before, and it's just the worst. But, you know, he's got some great teammates, so we'll see what they can do.
Well, we're having a look at a driver who has not had a good start to the season at all. Max Benecke right now. He is currently finding himself down in 17th place in the championship standings. Yeah, he is somebody who knows what it's like to compete for the championship here, Arjuna, and he's not had the great start that he would expect himself to get.
Yeah, he's someone who over the last couple of years has really struggled here in qualifying, which really sets the tone for the rest of the event, right? Because the field is always split by hundredths, thousandths of a second, and so if you can't get the most out of the car in qualifying, you set yourself up on the back foot. Benecke is also in this interesting place where through the rest of this campaign, he's going to have other distractions in the mouse camp, along with the likes of Patrick Holtzman, Yuri Kastor, Moritz Lohner. They're competing in all sorts of different competitions, and so for Benecke, getting closer to the halfway mark of the season, he's outside of the top 15. He's not even thinking right now about a championship fight. He's thinking about how do I maintain my Super Cup license at the end of the season.
Well, this is the first part of qualifying then. Group A of qualifying. If you're new to the championship, welcome along. These drivers get themselves one lap to set a qualifying time here. From 30th to 6th place in the championship standings, they go out to qualifying now in Group A, and we get ourselves a provisional pole sitter. And then, one by one, from 5th to 1st place in the championship, we then get to see who can try and beat those times. But the hot laps are underway now here in qualifying, and we've seen how brutal track limits can be on occasion in this series so far. And Circuit of the Americas, Mitchell, is one of those where you do have to play it careful, don't you?
No doubt. There's a lot of track limits that are kind of hard to define, and you really need to push it here to get the most out of the track. So it's just going to take all the hours of practice you've done to really hone in on exactly what the limits are, and sure enough, you can expect everyone to really be pushing it right on the edge.
As the drivers now getting themselves out there. One driver who is doing good so far in the early going of qualifying. Actually, first sector purple time is for Jamie Fluke at this stage. As Lasse Bach has got the fastest second sector. So the times are coming through the sectors right now, and they'll be sorting themselves out. There's Fluke from the Apex Racing team. This is another driver who is an ever-present in this championship, Arjuna, who's under a bit of pressure right now after having not the best of form here today in the series.
Yeah, Zach Campbell directed his wrath at Jamie Fluke and Johan Hart in the aftermath of what we saw at Magny Core in the main race. Check up at the hairpin. Zach Campbell wasn't happy with his former teammates. Jamie Fluke then not enjoying the best of luck at Long Beach either. He is definitely someone that's usually someone that is consistently in and around the mix. He just needs a little bit of luck to go his way, and it's going to start in qualifying. Looks calm for the time being, and we'll see exactly how Apex are looking in terms of the five drivers, they bring out today.
Well, Oscar Mangan will be the first driver to set the marker then here in qualifying. Through the final corner he goes, back end just sliding a little bit. A little bit of slip does help you on corner exit in occasion, especially in a hot lap like this. And across the line, 208. Oh, but Zach Campbell now, Quentin Violate going quicker. Johan Half now even quicker than him. So Benecke into third because Lasse back into second place in qualifying. The times are coming in thick and fast here. Alejandro Sanchez now to the head of your standings here, provisionally on pole position. Can anybody dethrone him here in this qualifying session? Well, they're coming through thick and fast. Sam Keiter then is going to be one of your final drivers to set his first lap, and we'll get to see whether he can beat Alejandro Sanchez. Across the line he goes, And does he set himself a good lap time? 7th place for him. So that's Group A done and dusted for qualifying. Provisionally on pole position is Alejandro Sanchez, but now he's got that weight here, Arjuna, to see what happens in Group B.
Yeah, and poor Alejandro Sanchez is going to have to come and talk to us now for a little bit. Instead of just watching with his teammates, he'll have to come and chat with us. Don't forget there are a handful of drivers as well that don't get to qualify for this round. And so they are going, like Simona Miramarcello, be starting at the very back. We'll see how they're able to pick their way out through all of the drama. So it's going to be Webster, then Pinto, Job, Caruso, and Collins. That will be the order in which we see them across the line.
We certainly will. Cooper Webster, he's been intriguing to see how he gets on in this championship. Had a really good round last time out at Long Beach. And the Australian from Wallen, as you can see there on screen, certainly pushing his car and getting himself set for this one as he comes through. So the lap times are not doing too bad, but Arjuna, you've got our provisional pole sitter.
Yeah, Alejandro, decent lap there in qualifying, it seems like. Put it all together. How do you feel about it?
It was relatively safe because I off track in my practice lap, so I didn't want the same thing to happen. We knew we had good pace coming into it, but yeah, overall just a solid lap, no mistakes, pretty safe, but super happy with the team and where we are.
Very quickly before we get Cooper across the line, what do you think your potential, the optimal lap time would have been in qualifying for you?
Like an 8 or a 7 probably, but that's like, for me at least, very hard to hit that lap time when you're actually under pressure and you only have one lap, you know?
Well, 208 flat basically then. It tracks pretty well. In terms of the racing that we're going to see here, talk to us about tyres. Not such a worry in qualifying, maybe a bit more of a worry when we get to the feature race later on.
Yeah, they drop off quite a bit. I think we'll be helped a little bit by the conditions today. I think they're a little bit colder than what we were expecting, so that probably helped a little bit. And it definitely shifts the balance of wear from rears to fronts, so that will help as well. So yeah, hopefully it won't be too bad degradation, and we'll be able to keep our tires in check for the entirety of the race.
Talk about your season very quickly, sitting inside of the top 10 in points. How are you feeling with 3 rounds in the books?
I feel good, but I didn't have the most luck in the first, well, the first and the third round. I didn't have the biggest of lucks. I got taken out in the feature, which was very unfortunate. So yeah, we'll see. Long season, 6 rounds to go. So yeah, planning to fight for still.
What's the mood like in the Stormforce Racing by Apex Racing team camp? Of course, you guys have 4 drivers in the championship. You, Johan, who's sitting provisionally second, Salva, and then, of course, Jamie Fluke. How are you guys feeling in the championship?
We are very motivated to find the best quali pace possible, and we push each other weekly to find the best, like, averages and feature stints and everything we can. We try to find everything, we try everything, and overall, yeah, really good. Really good teamwork and really good, like, I don't know how to say this, like, ambient, you know?
I know what you mean, and of course you've got Salva Talons joining you from MSI for this year, which I think must only add to the feeling that you guys have in that team. Diogo Pinto only 7th. We'll now get to see what Sebastian Job can do against your 208.017. He's going to grab 2nd. Your time's still looking good, Alejandro.
Yeah, we'll see. Jordan is very fast, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if he takes pole by 2 tenths again. So, yeah, we'll see.
Paul, it's looking pretty feisty at the top right now.
It is looking extremely close indeed, as Jordan Caruso is going to be the next one to come across the line. So, I mean, Alejandro, you must be... I mean, at least you're looking at a top 3 start. This is very promising for this round of the championship.
I don't want to jinx it, but every time I've qualified in the top 5, I've been taken out. So I don't expect anything.
No. Well, I didn't I didn't say that, so therefore the commentator's curse doesn't happen on that one. But we're just going to have a look then. Jordan Caruso coming across the line. What is his lap time going to be? It's a fastest final sector, but it's only third place. Sanchez is still currently on pole position provisionally, because this is the last driver who is going to be setting a last one, and that is going to be Charlie Collins here. But Arjuna, it's all about this sector right now, getting the lines and the corners absolutely spot on.
Remember what the last 2 rounds of the championship have really set up. Charlie Collins and Jordan Caruso breaking away from the rest of the field that have had struggles. Caruso's third. Collins knows if he can be calm, cool, consistent like we saw with him in his debut campaign in the Porsche Esports Supercup, it's all looking good for him to be at the front, fighting for the championship, winding out of the triple right-hander. What does Collins have in store?
Well, let's see then. He's just got 2 more corners to set himself a lap time here. Collins, your championship leader right now. Can he get himself a pole position here in the end? Through the final corner, we'll get to see what the time is as he comes across the line. And what does that do? That puts him 8th place. Alejandro Sanchez, you are on pole position.
Yeah, let's go. First pole of my, well, in 5 years in PESC, so I'll take it.
Hey, that is a heck of a job there. Thank you so much for joining us here, and all the best for the race.
Thank you very much.
There we go then. Your Tag Heuer Pole Award winner, Alejandro Sanchez, your 3rd pole position sitter here in the championship, with other than Jordan Caruso and Zach Campbell here this season in the championship. That was one heck of a lap time that Sanchez has set there, Arjuna.
But Caruso up in the mix once again. I thought Sebastian Job was going to be the one to come in and dominate qualifying this season, but Caruso for Altus Esports leading that team as they continue to look stronger and stronger week on week.
So then, that is your drivers who are on pole position this season so far. Sanchez joining that list. But let's take a look at your grid then. It is Sanchez and Job on the front row of the grid, with Caruso and Harth on row number 2, Bach and Beneke on row number 3. 4th row of the grid for Jamie Fluke and Charlie Collins, with Quentin Violette and Diogo Pinto, row number 5. The 6th row for Sam Keitet and Salva Talens. Zach Campbell on row number 7 with Cooper Webster, with Julian Sonin and Alessandro Pico on row number 8. Row 9 for Marina Sarica and Ascari Rain. 10th row of the grid for Christopher Dan Bitts, with Matthias Stuckbeck on alongside him. Gustavo Ariel then row number 11 with Thomas Tetela. Oscar Mangan and Bryn Collins down on row number 12. The 13th row is Luca Kita and Alexei Nesov, with Simone, Maria Marcheno, Gianni Vecchio, Kevin Nielsen and Bobby Zelensky all starting from the back of the grid. Mitchell, we've got you here in the commentary booth. What are these drivers going through now, getting themselves prepared for the start?
Yeah, I think switching from qualifying to race mode is super difficult. Of course, you put all your stake in one lap and just hope you get it together. And now you need to take care of the tires, you take care of the incidents, make sure you don't get in a wreck, and also be in a good position for the points now. So it's going to be a really tough one. We'll see who manages it the best. It'll be interesting.
And Arjuna, very quickly then, Sanchez said he's not had the best of luck from the front 5 positions here. How do we look for him in this race?
Oh, he's got to survive turn number 1. It's so inviting, so wide, and it funnels down into just a couple of different lines. Let's see how it goes.
Well, we will get ourselves set then for the sprint race here in the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Supercup. It is round number 4 of the championship from Circuit of the Americas here in Texas. Delighted to have you all along joining us for the ride. But the drivers now will be set, looking to that starter's gantry. The revs will rise. We've got a green flag and away we go, and it's a great launch from the front row of the grid for Alejandro Sanchez as they go on up towards turn number 1. Look, everybody darting to the inside. They want to be in the prime place. Sebastian Job, 2nd place. Johan Herth, 3rd, as they're going 2-3 wide through that first corner, sort themselves out as they plunge downhill through turn number 2. There's Max Beneke in 7th place. We've got cars going through there, and that is going to be Pinto challenging Charlie Collins, your championship leader, through the S's. It's not the easiest section to go too wide through there, and still the drivers all charging their way through. So far so good, Arjuna out there on track.
Yeah, Jordan Caruso almost put himself in a very dangerous situation, wide and understeering off. Able to get his car back under control. Did see Johan Haas fire it past him for 3rd, but Caruso settles into line. Zach Campbell with the worst start of them all. He drops back 3 or 4 positions. Single file, they get ready to power themselves onto the back straightaway.
Well, you say the single file, but they're going 3 wide further back in the field there. It's absolutely brutal when you get yourself towards the rear of the field. Down the back straight for the first time. This is where the slipstream is going to be key for these drivers. Sebastian Job, if he wants a championship fight, he needs to start getting some really good results here. He is 3rd in the championship. Remember, race winner in our main race last time out at Long Beach. Through turn 12, the rest of your field working their way through. Good, clean start, but Mitchell, these early stages, you've just got to have your eyes everywhere when you're in that mid-pack.
Absolutely, and especially in these early laps, you really need to watch checkups in some of these hard braking zones. That can really end your race if someone's not being careful. So you gotta be completely aware, watching your mirrors at all times. Just try to get through it and then work your way forward.
So it is Sanchez from Job from half the front 3 right now. Caruso in 4th place, 2nd place in the championship, looking to get some good points over his championship rival of Charlie Collins. Collins at the moment stands in 8th place in this race. Don't forget that the top 8 positions of the results of this sprint race, they set your grid in an inverted state for race number 2, the main race. There you see your 2 drivers, Sanchez and Job. We've commented on it in the past then, Arjuna. Sebastian Job, he likes his steering wheel to give him a lot of feedback and a lot of force. And you can see how much he's having to work through these S's.
Yeah, I guess we have to ask him again. Is he going to have to jump off this race and drive over to the Red Bull factory and get ready to jump into a stint in the simulator if Max and Checo have complained about the car? Very curious to find out. The thing with Seb that I think we talked about last time at Long Beach is the mentality that we've seen out of him here in 2023, Paul. On occasion, maybe more specifically in the Porsche Esports Carrera Cup Great Britain, we've seen a Sebastian Job looking for moves that maybe he doesn't need to go for. When we get those inverted grids in the second races, trying to work his way through too aggressively, too quickly. It seemed like last time in the Porsche Esports Carrera Cup Great Britain, Sebastian had calmed down a little bit. You look at him right now, he looks as calm as you could be. It's what he will want, it's what his team will want to see as well.
It certainly is. Currently in 2nd place. I don't think he has to win this one, as we've got more fighting further down your field. That's Salva Talons ahead of Quentin Violate and Julian Sonin, the 2 teammates of Violate and Sonin. Oh, there's a move from Oscari. Down the inside, bang, through he goes. A robust move, but something that these cars can cope with. Here is now Biko's making the robust moves, and all of a sudden, Julian Sonin is getting freight trained here, and he won't be liking that at all. And Mitchell, how much does that just take you out of your rhythm here, because he's losing another place now?
So difficult, especially you're just trying to manage tires, try to work your way forward, have the best overall race possible. And of course, all these unknown variables, they can really throw a wrench in your whole plan. So you need to just manage it one lap at a time, one at a time.
As we go through across the line, Alessandro Biko then, he's not shying going forward, is the young Italian. Down the inside into turn 1. This is what we were expecting to see. Hits the apex. Nicely done. Gets the crossover done and ahead of Oscari Ryan. So ahead into 14th place for Alessandro there on track. I do believe Sonin had issues more because he's dropped all the way down on my timing screen to 29th. They'll make that fighting for 30th place right now, Arjuna.
He's fighting with Gianni Vecchio, who couldn't buy some luck if it found him on the street right now. It's just from bad to worse. Had broken his tailbone before round number 1. still put himself in the sim, didn't really go that well, was not feeling like he could sit in the rig, so elected to step aside for round 2. Came back at Long Beach, 0 points, involved in all the drama that we had. And then there's technical issues in the build up to this week. He's built 4 computers trying to get his issues resolved, has gone back to the first one in the hopes that he can survive today.
Well, here's Jamie Fluke. He's currently down in 21st in the championship. He needs to get a few good results in this round, and Fluke in that Apex Racing team car, the Northern Irishman, trying his best to move forward here because he wants the points, but Max Beneke is trying his best to take places off of Fluke as well. And this is what this section does to you, the switchbacks, you know, it goes back and forth between you. It's such a tricky section, of course, and Charlie Collins now trying to get involved in all of this one. It's just difficult to defend through that last sector, through that technical section, Mitchell, because you can defend into one corner and all of a sudden you're opening the door into the next corner for your competitor.
Absolutely, it's so difficult. It's such a flowy track, especially in the last parts, that, you know, you defend one corner and they can easily set you up for the next one. So you need to really manage it well, try to play some mind games with them to make them go like the way you want. And if you can do that, for sure, you're set up well. But if not, then you're going to have a difficult time.
Now, I know for a fact that you get to see what this young man does as Collins actually loses the place to Diogo Pinto. So Pinto now is in that crucial inverted pole position right now in 8th place. But Collins, just how good is he as a driver?
Whoa!
As we actually have a bit of drama out there on track, we'll get into that. Thomas Tetela not having much fun out there for the young Finn. He's dropped all the way down to last place, and I have a funny feeling that he was assisted there, Arjuna.
Yeah, he's not the only one that's had issues as well. Our sprint race winner at Long Beach, Simone Miramarcheno, has also had an issue. He's dropped down to 29th position. You just saw they tripped over each other down out of turn 1. Wonder if a couple of cars pushed themselves a little bit too far out wide, and then if in the act of trying to rejoin the track, I know you love a bit of a discussion about track limits, Paul. I just wonder if trying to encroach back over the white line, if 2 came into 1. Let's go and take a look.
Well, let's have a look then at what happened in that one there. You see the driver that we're focusing on, Thomas Tetela. He is alongside the 16, down into turn number 1, trying to run it all the way around the outside. We get cars check up. Oh, and it was Sarika had an issue. They come together, and yeah, that's it. 3 into 1 space does not work there. Now, the front 2, they are making a little bit of a breakaway of it. Sanchez and Job, they are trying to pull away from Johan Half, and I think if you're Sebastian Job, you need that, because Half, being the teammate of Sanchez, would be trying to distract Job. But Job, he's looking forward here in this race, and I'll bring Mitchell into this one. We've talked about the importance of having teammates in and around you. How important is it for that Stormforce team having the 2 in 1st and 3rd to distract Job?
Yeah, I think if you're in this situation, it's pretty ideal for you. You can kind of play smart with this. Of course, I think everyone's going to be thinking about the future here, want to be in a good position, but I think all the drivers there need to get some good points heading into the future. They have a little bit edge on the likes of Pinto and stuff like that, so I think they'll be trying to maximize it. I'm sure if I'm Sebi, I'm still trying to go for the win, but I'm still also trying to be smart, thinking about the future.
As we go through the S's, there is Pinto then, your 2022 champion. He's got car number 1 on the door, and he proudly wears that one. We saw how much it meant to him to win this championship. It is one of the most competitive championships in all of sim racing, is this series, and certainly Pinto was delighted with that championship win. He's got Max Beneke in front of him though. Beneke has actually lost the place to Fluke once again, so Fluke back up to 6th place. This is a really intriguing race here in the back half of your top 8, Arjuna.
Yeah, and I've kind of got a question for Mitchell. You kind of alluded to it with your answer just there. How do you as a team and as a driver think about a format where you can qualify on pole position, finish that first race in 1st, but then be inverted to 8th, finish in 8th, and win less points than if you had qualified 8th, finished 8th, and then finish 1st, if you get where I'm going with it?
Yeah, I think it depends on the driver, definitely. You know, I can think of if I was Josh Rogers of the past and I had the raw pace to be able to work myself up to the win in the feature from that 8th place invert, you know, I would go for it every time. But also, if you're in a good position where you can catch the invert, start on pole, start on the front 2 rows, then you try to get your points there. So it's for sure a game of tactics. But of course, once you get in the race, everyone wants to win. Also looks good on the stats, so you go for everything.
Alejandro Sanchez is being liberal with the track limits right now in trying to stay ahead. He obviously feels that he does have instant points to play with here in this one. Don't forget, if you are new to iRacing, there is a no-fault system when it comes to driver safety. If you go off track, you get yourself a 1 instant point. If you lose control of your car, that's 2 instant points. If you make heavy contact with another car, that's 4 instant points. So you can accumulate those instant points very quickly if you're not careful. And Sanchez taking liberal use of the asphalt runoff. I'll refrain from going into my 30-minute tirade about why track limits are important in the world of racing. But we've got the triple box on screen right now. Race for the lead, that top centre. The bottom left, it's that race for 9th place. You've got Pinto and Collins and Keiter together there. The race for 18th between Nesov, Zach Campbell down in 19th place. He'll be disappointed with that.
I think if you're Charlie Collins, there's a little bit more urgency to fight your way back up into this one, because you're going to miss out on the inverted top 8. Remember, Jordan Caruso has got points in qualifying for qualifying up towards the front. He's going to get points for finishing up towards the front, and he's perfectly positioned as well in the invert to still be in and amongst the front couple of rows as they get this race underway. Caruso and Collins, it's now that point in the season already where they're looking at each other as the main rivals, and they're just trying to best each other.
I want to give a quick mention as well to Lasse Bach right now in 5th place. He's only had 2 top 10 finishes in this series so far, and that was both in the sprint and main race at the Hockenheimring at the start of the season. The rest of this championship has just not gone his way. Currently in 5th place, though, finds himself in a very, very good position for that Fire team. But you're absolutely right about Charlie Collins there, 9th place. But Mitchell, you know, how important is it when you're on the outside of that top 8 to get yourself into the top 8 for that inverted grid for race 2?
Yeah, 8th place is the magical number for this. Of course, everyone wants to be there, especially if you're someone like Charlie right now. That can completely change your whole event. Just getting that invert, starting on pole and running away with it. So that is the only objective. And for Pinto, it's to defend that spot. But also he needs to pay attention to the cars ahead in case they're dropping back. Maybe it gives him a chance to overtake them and give him a cushion. It's just a big mind game.
Mind game is the correct term, but I mean, when you're on a track like this, Mitchell, it is, you've got a few overtaking opportunities. It's just being smart about when you go for that move, isn't it?
Definitely. You know, with the draft, it seems like it's keeping everyone really close in the game pretty much at all times. But you have to look for those heavy braking zones. Turn 1, turn 11, for sure into turn 12 too. That's very enticing for some people to go for a dive. So you just need to watch out for those, watch out for the checkups, and just see what the race brings to you.
Well, Lasse Bach is at the front of that little queue of cars. It's Bach, then Fluke, then Beneke, then Pinto, then Collins, Sam Keiter there with Cooper Webster. It's a bunch of cars together, all the way down, in fact, to Alessandro Bico all together, as we see cars in the background of that shot making moves. That's Cooper Webster looking to make some moves in this one, but Lasse Bach, the Norwegian, certainly giving himself the greatest opportunity here to have a good run. Of course, a rookie in the Porsche Heuer Esports Supercup. He is under some serious pressure here, Arjuna.
I hate to throw you under the bus, but Norway and Denmark apparently have become the same country. This is kind of what you expect, though, in the sprint races. Not many moves being thrown outside of the lap 1 as drivers settle into the rhythm. Let's not forget, though, that we're at that point. Tires starting to fall off slightly. How is that going to play out as we get to the feature when we add a couple more laps? We do also have to wonder, what product does Lasse back use in his hair to keep it that straight, even with the headphones on top of it?
Do you know what? I have no defence because it is literally on the screen there which country he's from as well. So absolutely no defence for that. Last lap, though. This is the important lap now here in the sprint race. Sanchez and Job have got a nice little cushion between themselves and Johan Haaf at the front of your field. Johan Haaf has got Jordan Caruso to keep him company in 3rd and 4th place. And then you've got that grouping trying to get themselves into the top 8. It's going to be currently Diogo Pinto in 8th place, but Charlie Collins will be trying everything he can on this lap to get into that top 8. Pinto will be defending that one for all it's worth. Sebastian Job, though, Arjuna, we know he likes to win every race that he takes part in, and he is trying his best, isn't he?
I feel like we are going to see the more reserved Sebastian, though, that will take 2nd place, and then we'll look to the feature and know that there's still plenty more racing left to come. Sanchez has looked comfortable. He's absorbed all this pressure. He's been willing to run off the track at his own liberties, maybe not Paul Smith's liberties, and he's been playing this race almost perfectly.
Well, Alejandro Sanchez does have 2 sprint race wins to his name in the Porsche Heuer Esports Supercup, so he knows what it takes to win here in this series, and it's great to see him up there for that Stormforce Racing by Apex Racing Team outfit right at the front of the field. The Spaniard doing the job over the young Brit of Sebastian Job. 3rd place for Haaf is the Frenchman, and still that 8th place has not changed place, but Sanchez right now, you can see the focus on his face. He has got everything between his teeth, and you know what? He's got this one sorted. He's going into the final corner now, just one more corner to go. Keep it on the grey stuff. And Alejandro Sanchez, you are nearly losing the back end, but it's a race win in the sprint race for Alejandro Sanchez here in the Porsche Heuer Esports Supercup. Job does finish in 2nd place ahead of Johan Haaf. Jordan Caruso 4th ahead of Lasse Bach, with Jamie Fluke finishing in 6th ahead of Maximilian Beneke, and Diogo Pinto, that crucial 8th place for him, gets him pole position for the main race. But it must feel wonderful. I mean, Mitchell, you know what it's like as we look at your race results, what it's like to get that first win of the season under your belt.
Yeah, it's huge for sure. It's what we race for. You want to go for the win, of course. And, you know, I think he's a very deserving winner. So we'll get interested to see where he goes from here.
It was Sanchez from Job, Haaf, Caruso, Bach, Fluke, Beneke, and Pinto is your top 8, with Collins and Keita rounding out your top 10. Webster just finishes outside that top 10 and 11th ahead of Talons, Biko, Violate, Reiner, with Ariel, then Stuckbeck, Nessov, Campbell, and Zelensky rounding out the top 20, the last of the point scorers as well. Mangan, Collins, that's Bryn, with Sonnen, Sarika, Vecchio, Maria Marcheno, Dan Bitts, Thomas Tetela, Kevin Nielsen, and Luca Keita did not finish that race. Those are your 30 drivers who finished that one. And, well, Arjuna, you've got our race winner.
Well, pole position to victory, but I don't think it was necessarily as easy as that, Alejandro. Talk to us about your sprint race victory here at Coda.
Yeah, very happy with the result, obviously. We tried to keep Seb behind, but yeah, we had to take advantage of the track limits, some laps at the end. But yeah, I think we had great pace, looking promising for the future. Yeah, just made no mistakes at all during the race. Stevie was quite consistent as well, so he kept me on my toes. But yeah, congratulations to Seb and to Johan, who finished P3 as well, and Jamie P5. Really happy with the result.
The double podium for the Stormforce team, so it's great to see that, of course. But in your perspective now, starting 8th, how are you going to work your way forward? You can't. It's not about not making mistakes. It's about finding opportunities.
Yeah, I'm just going to pray I don't get taken out. Don't have any more expectations. I just want to finish this race without any incidents.
Hopefully the iRacing gods are smiling down on you. You're already out there on track for practice, getting focused up for the feature. Paul, in your opinion, what do you think we're going to see in this feature?
What we're going to see is some tremendous racing, and I think we're going to see some action, thrills, and spills. It is Paul Smith, Arjuna Kankapati, and our special guest, Mitchell de Jong, former driver here in this Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Supercup, second place in the championship in 2021. You know all about the championship fight. In these early stages, Mitchell, it's all about getting yourself some good points to take forward in the rest of the season, isn't it?
Definitely. I think you need to just think about each race one at a time. Sometimes things might not go your way, but you need to perform damage limitations, do the best you can, and at the end of the season, it's what matters, and consistency is key.
Well, we'll take a look at the highlights here, Arjuna. There was plenty going on out there in that race, and it was a great start from the front of the field for Alejandro Sanchez.
And yeah, from there, it was breaking away. Top two, Job and Sanchez just able to canter away from those behind. Zach Campbell not really enjoying the best of luck, but at the very least finishing the race and getting some points onto the board. Behind them, plenty of fighting, including the likes of the RAG car that really got freight trained with Julian Sonnen dropping down the timing order. And then later on, fighting for that 8th position that saw Diogo Pinto get up in front of Charlie Collins.
And I think that was crucial for Pinto, of course, defending champion, to try and get himself on to the front of the field. There's what happened to Marceno. But Mitchell, we're having a look at the track map. I mean, you've been giving us a bit of insight about this one. Just how good is it to go racing around this venue?
I really love this track. I know it's a bit love-hate relationship, I think, for some people, but it's so technical, but also it's so flowing as well. Once you really put a lot of time into it, it's such a fantastic track to drive. You know, just getting the rhythm and stuff like that, it's just incredible. And also it can really be good for racing. Hopefully we see some more of that in the future, and we'll see.
Yeah, I think the drivers were being a little bit sort of calm in terms of how they were driving out there in the sprint race. If you do want information about the series, don't forget you can check out iracing.com/PESC for information about the series and about the All-Stars as well. And don't forget as well, all new memberships right now, 40% off. So if you do fancy yourself getting involved in iRacing, then do head on over to iracing.com. We're at the start of a brand new iRacing season right now. There's some tremendous content that's come to that base content, so do check on out iracing.com and sign up for your iRacing membership. But we're getting ourselves prepared here for race number 2. The drivers getting the final bit of preparation, Arjuna, and it is important for them to get those few laps in the warm-up.
I think this is a different situation to what happens between qualifying and the first race, right? Because Mitchell mentioned it, you go from the 1-lap mode to the race mode. Now you're already in race mode, you just got to calm yourself down, try and forget some of the things that happened in race 1 so you can focus on what lies ahead.
Well, let's take you through your starting grid then. It is Pinto and Beneke on the front row of the grid, with Fluke and Back on row number 2, Caruso and Harth row number 3. Job and Sanchez row number 4, then they start where they finished. Charlie Collins and Kaita, Webster and Talons, with Biko and Violate. Reiner with Ariel. Stuckbeck and Nessoff row number 9. 10th row for Zach Campbell and Bobby Zelensky, with Oscar Mangan and Bryn Collins down there in row number 11. Row 12 for Julian Sonnen and Marina Srika. And then the rest of your field, Vecchio and Marceno, with Dambit, Tetela, Nielsen and Kita rounding out those 30 cars on the grid. So we're getting ourselves prepared, drivers getting themselves into this final race of the day. Main race for you here. It is going to be 16 laps, and it's one final swig of the drink for them. But Mitchell, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Who do you think takes the win in this one?
To be honest, I feel like if you're Diogo Pinto, you're in a really good spot to just hold on to the position you already have.
Pinto for Mitchell. Arjuna?
I mean, logically, I think Mitchell is right, just for the sake of entertainment and to make things a bit more dramatic. You know what? I think this is the time for Maximilian Beneke. Outside of the front row, it's time for Heuer Esports to be on top in the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Supercup.
Well, I'm going to make it 3 out of 3 for differences. Jamie Fluke is going to take his debut win here in the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Supercup. You heard it here first from a Yorkshireman who has commentated on Jamie and raced against Jamie for a long time, so no bias there at all. But come on, Jamie, do it for me, please. We're getting ourselves ready for the start of this feature race, this main race here at Circuit of the Americas in the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Supercup. 16 laps of action. Getting ourselves ready. Revs rise. Green flag, and away we go. Not the best of starts from your front row, but they do go 2 by 2 through across the line and straight away. Defensive driving. Job is getting very aggressive. So too is Caruso into turn number 1. Almost contact between 3 drivers there as they go through. 2, 3 wide. Plunging downhill. Biko's off in the background there in that Williams Esports car. Oh, there's another car gone flying off then. And that is going to be Sebastian Job. Sebastian Job, one of your drivers who's competing for the championship, has dropped all the way down to 29th here in the early stages of this race. He was aggressive from the start, and maybe that aggression has come back to bite him. But at the front, it's still Pinto, Beneke, Fluke, Caruso, and then back in 5th place. He finished race 1 in 5th. He could be on for another 5th place finish here, Arjuna.
It was gloves off and elbows out immediately on that run up into turn number 1. Caruso, I don't know how he was able to avoid running into the back of Jamie Fluke, but he was able to survive. Meanwhile, Beneke through 11 almost turns Pinto as they get their way onto the power. Now snaking back and forth. Who's going to be brave into turn 12? Tar still coming up the temperature, but the best opportunity to work your way forward.
Oh, Fluke's having a look here. He's thinking about it on Max Beneke. Down in towards turn number 12. They go. He's got the inside, but Beneke's got to get on that power a little bit earlier around the outside. And now Caruso is having a look on Fluke here. There's no love lost here between the front bunch because they all want to win this race here as we're coming towards the end of this first lap. 16 laps for these drivers. They've got to be conscious as well about looking after their tyres. But I can tell you right now, track temperature is 3 degrees centigrade cooler than in race number 1. So they're really going to be thankful for that the track temperature is cooling down for them. They'll be able to be a little bit more aggressive on their cars as they go into that final corner, as we've got a car. Oh, I was confused there. I thought there was a car stop, but we're back with live pictures across the line. Pinto from Beneke, from Fluke across the line here, Arjuna. That was a sensational opening lap, but huge championship implications for Sebastian Job.
Yeah, and that may just be another week where Job's on the back foot. Let's go back and take a look at it. Down the hill, already you saw Caruso with his desperate lunge. Job's on the outside with Harth in the middle, got one of the Urano cars on the very inside. They all just tried to funnel down together. Job luckily minimizes the contact with the wall. It's only the left rear that punts itself into the Armco. But Job runs now in 26th position.
Mitchell, how hard is it being involved in the championship fight where you get yourself caught up in a lap 1, turn 1 incident and you're having to fight back to try and get as many points as you can do?
That's absolutely the worst thing that could happen. After a solid sprint race, solid qualifying, you'd think this is a really good points day, but that is just such a shame for Sebastian. That's a really hard pill to swallow, I would say.
Well, you've got to just buckle up and work hard to try and get yourself into the points. Remember, 25 positions score your points here in the main race, so it's not the end of the world. Get yourself whatever points you can and just chalk that off as a bad day at the office, move into the next race. But that race at the front here, Arjuna, Pinto and Beneke, they are pushing themselves out there. They're really, you can see Pinto trying to break the slipstream down that back straight.
Yeah, there's history between these two. Let's not forget that they first fought in the summer of 2021 in the Porsche Esports Carrera Cup Deutschland before Diogo Pinto actually joined up with Team Redline. Diogo had a fantastic run in the championship, and before we got to the final rounds, Redline snatched him up. It was Beneke up against Pinto in that one. Things got physical. Vaneka now no longer part of Redline. You wonder what feelings are still left there. Pinto flies the flag now for Team Redline with that ¡1 machine. He's not going to give this one up without a fight.
I remember commentating that race, and yeah, that was full on, gloves off. No quarter given and none taken between the two of them. So these two know what it's like to be able to scrap out there on track. As there's something happened there for Campbell. He's been making moves at turn 1. 15th place for Zach right now. It's a gain of 4 places for the young American. So after not feeling well, just trying to get himself as many places as possible. But unfortunately, Arjuna, we do get to speak to Gianni Vecchia.
Yeah, Gianni, you can't buy any luck. I mean, you were injured at the start of the season. You had to miss a round. And now you had technical issues all week.
It's simply lovely, isn't it? I mean, luck isn't for everyone. I guess it's not for me the past few weeks. I wish I could be Mitchell, sitting in a nice chair, chilling. I wish I had all that luck.
Let's ask the question first. How is your tailbone? Hopefully recovered.
I think it's almost recovered. It still hurts a bit from time to time when I'm sitting for a long time, but yeah, it's not too bad. I would say I can sit for 2-3 hours straight without having any pain, so it's not too bad.
So let's talk about something that I think is going to be a major talking point after today, qualifying, and some teams seemingly finding some things that other teams have not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I should say that. I don't know how I should say that in a political correct way. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting to see what others do. Drifting around, doing some sort of burnouts. I mean, yeah, I mean, we didn't know about it, let's be fair. I have no idea. But, I mean, at the end of the day, these guys just did a better job, and that's it. That's how you can put it.
Well, hopefully the second half of the season has at least a little bit of luck going your way, Gianni. We'll see you in a couple of weeks at the Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, let's hope so.
A little bit of luck, hopefully, Paul, because, yeah, no luck so far.
Yeah, if he had any luck, it'd just be bad luck, is the old saying. But this race for 15th, Campbell, Reiner, Mangan, and Stuckbeck. We're looking at this because the front few right now, I think, are in tyre preservation mode. Oh my goodness, that was an Altus car out of nowhere. Who was that? It's got to be Marceno with a move like that. Absolutely locked up into turn 1. I mean, Mitchell, when you're driving along and you see in your rear view mirror suddenly an Altus car out with just smoke piling off of its tyre, you just open the steering and get out the way, don't you?
Well, he went for the move. You got to respect it. These cars, of course, are really difficult with the brakes. You don't have ABS to save you. So, you know, that was just a hard move there, and no drama because of it. But, you know, all good in the end.
But it just shows how good you have to be in terms of awareness of the cars around you as well as to what they're doing out there, Mitchell.
Absolutely. Not only yourself just running a good race, but you also have to be ready to adapt to what other people are doing on track. Situation like that.
Well, let's have a look at that again then, Arjuna, because he went for the move and then just got it all locked up and couldn't get it stopped. And how close did he get to his teammate, Oscar Mangan?
Fair credit to Stokeback as well for just bleeding out of the brakes and allowing Marceno to overrun the corner, because that could have been a lot more messy than it ended up being. They all figured it out in time, which I think it's good to see after what's been a rather tumultuous first 3 rounds of the championship, where almost half of the drivers already have penalty points and we're not even 4 rounds into the season. It's good to see that we're at least able to survive turn 1.
Yeah, survive for another lap at least, that's for sure. It's Marceno, you can see the concentration. It's a bit of a come down, you'd have to say, Arjuna, from last week, you know, getting that race win in the sprint race. It's his debut season in the championship as well. It's a real sort of bump back down to earth, isn't it, for Simone?
Yeah, he had a bit of an issue rolling out for qualifying last time out and rolled a little bit late outside of the Group A time, and that's why he was excluded from qualifying for this round. And so you go from the highest of highs, literally being in victory lane, to starting at the very back. It doesn't get more dramatic than that. But the one thing that we know with someone like Simone is it won't have affected his momentum and his motivation to go out there and do thousands of laps to try and figure out the best setups and driving styles for this track. Let's not forget, Altus for the first time come in with a 3-man effort to this World Championship, and Mangan's had some good runs. Caruso's looking like he's going to be a title contender, and Marcheno's already had a victory this season.
Certainly has. As we come back to the front of your field, it is still Pinto from Beneke from Fluke, your front three. Caruso in 4th place, ahead of Lasseback in 5th place. Your sprint race winner Alejandro Sanchez in 6th place. That's a gain of 2 places for Alejandro. Moving forward here with Johan Haaf in 7th, and then 8th place for Sam Keita. And look at how close that was between Marcheno and his teammate Mangan. I mean, rule number 1, Mitchell, in the whole of motorsport is don't take out your teammate.
That is absolutely the worst feeling ever if you do that. Luckily for them, nothing went wrong there, but yeah, that was a scary one.
I mean, Mitchell, you would know about teammates taking you out when you and Josh Rogers got together in one round at Spa, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I've been on the giving and the receiving end with those situations, and you never want to be in that.
Well, we carry on at the front, and it is just a queue of cars at the front right now, because it goes all the way back to 8th place before there's a little bit of a gap to Cooper Webster in 9th place, Salva Talons in 10th place. So, I mean, Arjuna, the Stormforce Racing team, you look at that, 3 drivers up there in that top 10.
Yeah, no, they've come on good today after what has been a rather up and down start to the season. Don't forget Matthias Stokeback originally was part of the outfit. He's now representing Fire Simsport, and so it saw one of the drivers rather switching from the Apex Racing team over to the Stormforce team. Showed up well in qualifying. 3 of their cars inside of the top 10. Things are clicking down in Corby, it seems.
I think the drivers are just in that little bit of tyre management and preservation. Look at how relaxed Caruso is behind the wheel right now. He's just doing his thing in a rhythm right now. But we're in that tyre preservation phase of the race, I do feel. The drivers are just trying to keep themselves to go towards the end of the race to be able to really push. Well, let's give you a little bit of sights and sounds here with a little bit of Buzz Full Throttle. That was a little bit of Buzz Full Throttle, and there's a driver dropping down the order. It's Lasse back, and he's had a big incident, and so has Gustavo Ariel. Gustavo Ariel has been involved in that one as well, so something has happened to Lasse back. He was on for a double 5th place finish here today, and he has gone back to the pits. That's the end of his race, so Lasse back out of this race. Something has happened through the S's. I'm sure we'll get a replay for you when we get that to you, but the front 4 now have got a little bit of separation here, Arjuna.
Yeah, just based, by the way, on positioning, I think Lasse Back must have had an issue initially, and then Gustavo Ariel came on the scene of it, because Lasse Back was running pretty decently. We mentioned it earlier, looked like he was getting a bit of momentum back on his side after back-to-back rounds. He just had nothing go his way. At the front, though, go back to the point where Mitchell, Paul, and myself all picked 3 different drivers. They're all still in contention. Let's go and take a look, though, at what happened out of the essence.
So this is Sanchez, Alejandro Sanchez, your race winner, from the sprint race, making a move. There's a little bit of a rub there. Oh, that's a little bit naughty there between the two of them. And then Back just gets checked up, half spins around, and here comes Ariel. Where do you go? Well, unfortunately, straight into the side of that car. I mean, Mitchell, you've raced in this series for many seasons. How hard is it when you just come around the corner all of a sudden, well, that's the end of my race?
Yeah, you need to keep your eyes on the relative box, yellow flag that could pop up. Just be open for anything, any information that you can get. Ideally, if you have a spotter as well, that could also help you. So it's really unfortunate for him there.
Arjuna, well, you get to speak to the driver who's unfortunately out of the race.
Yeah, I mean, Lasse, the season started off looking good. Hockenheim, you looked very quick, got the results. It's been a difficult ride since then.
Yeah, it's been uphill, an uphill battle a little bit. What?
I think you could hear our producer trying to ask you a question. Oh. Talk to us about the start of this season.
Yeah, it was the start of the season was really good, but yeah, it's been an uphill battle since then. Struggled a little bit with the qualifying, trying to figure out what to do, but it seems like we kind of starting to figure it out a little bit. But yeah, it was a little bit unfortunate what happened here in this race. I don't know why I needed to get rammed off the track, but that's a different, we'll take that there somewhere else, but yeah, it happens, I guess.
It's been great for those of us who have seen Fire Simsport in the last couple of years make the statement, though, on this Super Cup stage, because we've seen you across of so many different series. We've seen you in the Porsche Esports Carrera Cup Denmark as well. What's it like with Christopher Dambeats, with Kevin Nielsen? How are you feeling about making your challenge and your mark on this championship?
It feels really good. We have a very good connection, like all of us on the whole team. So we are like, yeah, connecting really good. Dambeats has been like, yeah, falling in really quickly with the team. So yeah, it feels great to like be up there with the other guys and the other teams. And yeah, we keep pushing forward, of course, and hopefully we can yeah, get some luck in the next coming rounds, hopefully.
Now, of course, it's not 3 drivers anymore, but it's 4 drivers now. You've got Matthias Stokback that's joined you as well.
Yeah, he also joined. He's been quick. He's been had a busy weeks here also, so he's not been able to practice as much. But yeah, he's definitely a quick guy, and he's a good guy to have on the team too, because he's also Danish, so it's nice.
You're a contender for best hair in all of sim racing. We need to know what product you use to keep it that tall, even behind the wheel. But hopefully you'll have a bit better luck at the Red Bull Ring. Thanks for joining us, Lasse, and hopefully things go a bit better for you moving forward.
Well, there we go. It's never nice talking to a driver mid-race because it means that something has happened to them. But it is great to get drivers' thoughts on what has happened out there. And yeah, we've been seeing some moves. If you've been keeping an eye on that timing tower on the left-hand side, Charlie Collins has had to make a move on Salva Talons up to 9th place. So Collins has really not been able to move forward in this field. Your driver who's been doing so well, of course, coming into this round of the championship in championship lead. Caruso right now, he's looking very confident at getting himself some good championship points here, Arjuna, as once again, Pinto is trying to break that draft.
Remember, they were only 7 points separated were Collins and Caruso coming into this round, and so Caruso looking like he'll grab 2 4th-place finishes in addition to the points out of qualifying. Championship advantage should swing in his direction. But while that's all going on, tires surely are starting to fall off now. This is when some of the teams and the drivers indicated, okay, we survived the sprint race distance, and now we've got to try and go extra laps on top of that. Pinto still looking cool, calm, and collected, but Benecca right there and searching for a victory.
I mean, Mitchell, it was touched on in our coverage earlier on with speaking to Sanchez, saying that he was actually happy that they're actually cooler temperatures compared to what they've been practicing. I mean, is that good in a way that you're able to push the tyre, or is it bad that you don't now know just how much you can push the tyre because you've not been practicing that weather?
Yeah, I would expect, you know, just the overall drop to be a little bit less for them on these cooler temperatures, but for sure there's still quite a bit, and it'll be interesting to see who manages them the best. I guess we'll see in the next few laps who starts to fall back, who starts to claw their way forward with the pace that they may have saved early on in the race. So I think it'll add an interesting dynamic here for sure.
Yeah, one thing that we sort of try and point out to people who are watching these broadcasts here, and you can touch on it a little bit, just the preparation. It's not just about doing laps behind the wheel, is it? It's also about eating properly and about working out and getting yourself the stamina to be able to wheel these cars consistently.
Definitely, and as you can see in a lot of these guys' cameras, running really high force feedback wheels and stuff that can really take a lot out of you, especially on some longer days where you're driving a lot. Obviously the pedals, they can be up to 100 plus kilos depending on the driver. For sure you need to check all the boxes, being well rested, whatnot. This is such a mental game as well. You need to be so sharp and not show any weaknesses, otherwise you could lose a few positions here or there, and that could really compromise your race.
So what you're telling me is that I need to stop off of the pies and start eating some salad. Okay, Roger, that I found that out the hard way. Thank you, Mitchell. But these drivers, though, they are pushing on, and they are at the limit all the way through this race. And still, Collins, he's moved up to 8th place now as Charlie. He's finally been able to get into that top 8. Arjuna, he has been working hard through, as Sam Kaita is almost in a dungeon, yeah.
Well, we're going into the Urano lair, it feels like right now, as Sam Kaita winds his way out of the triple right-hander. These are important moves for Charlie. He fell back initially at the start, has had to slowly claw his way back up to 9th where he started this main race, and now he's got basically the who's who in front of him. How easy is it going to be to get past Cooper Webster? Not very easy, let's be easy. Same thing with Haas Sanchez and the rest in front of him.
6 laps to go in this race as we look back, because it's not just in front that Sam Kaita's got to look now, he's got to look behind as well, because he's got the young Spaniard, Salva Talens, putting the pressure on. Quentin Violette is there with him as well, so they're trying to get themselves an improved finish here. Violette has not had a good season so far, just one top 10 finish for him in the last round, the main race at Long Beach, got himself a 9th place, so he's trying to move forward. And Salva Talens again, only one 9th place finish for him this season in the opening sprint race of the championship. So these are 2 drivers behind Sam Kaita that are trying to push forward, but Kaita himself trying to get himself his first top 10 finish here, Arjuna. So there's a bit of pressure on all of these 3 drivers to try and kickstart their campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. Sam's in his 2nd year in the series as well. His rookie campaign was difficult. Qualified by himself, then joined Urano and ran by himself. Has got Alexi and Luca that have been able to at least support him in terms of the preparation and building the pace up. All 3 of them have kind of struggled at times. Luca Kita technically in the top 15, but, well, he's not had an easy round by any means. And down the inside, Salva Talens is going to make that one look easy.
Oh, and that compromises the exit of Sam Kaita there through 12, but stays ahead of Violette for the time being. But that was a nice move from the young Spaniard of Salva Talens into this tight left-hander. You've got to be so patient with the throttle, haven't you, to try and negate any wheel spin out of that left-hander, and then carry the speed all the way through this long sweeping right-hander, get it up to the right-hand side, onto the brakes, use the curb on the inside to cut as much of the course as you possibly can. And it's a real method in the driver's skill here to be able to shorten the track as much as possible. Meanwhile, at the front, it is still the front four as they were. No moves being made yet. 5 laps to go in this race though, so they've really got to start thinking and looking at positioning themselves for any moves to be made in this race. We've got a car onto pit road. That is Bryn Collins. So something has happened to Collins out there for him to be on pit road, and Thomas Tetteler as well. He's on pit road. Don't say that's a drive-through penalty for the young Finn, but Arjuna, you know, that's enough for 2 drivers who could have done with a good result here today.
Yeah, it was Bryn Collins, Kevin Nielsen, and Thomas Tatteler all kind of sandwiched and concertinaed together. Nielsen immediately towed back to the pit lane. Tatteler had the incident limit that he went over, as that's a send to the inside. Jordan Caruso, not content to run in 4th position, forces Jamie Fluke out of the way, and now Caruso holds a podium spot, and with 5 laps to go, may not be done, may search for a couple more.
You know, I was saying that at the start of this lap that drivers needed to start thinking about where they want to be at the end of this race, and Caruso, Mitchell, he's thinking, I want to be up there at the front.
He's in a good spot, to be honest. Man, it is so close up the very front. Anything can happen right now. It just takes one move from someone and the other person can capitalize. It's going to be so tight to the end.
And that is what happened to Nielsen, to Collins, and to Tetteler, all coming together through that penultimate corner. That gave 2 drive-through penalties. Do you know what? To say how much space there is around this track, Arjuna, everyone who's currently running is in the points. There's 25 cars running right now.
It's been relatively good overall. Maybe not as much side-by-side passing at the front as maybe we would have wanted, but the wide tracks for the most part have allowed drivers to get away with a bit more. We've seen turn 1, lap number 1, inviting opportunities. Jordan Caruso proving that if you are close enough, you can use these big braking zones to really block past your way forward. And Circuit of the Americas has settled, I think, some of the tension that has been lingering after the last couple of rounds.
Certainly has, as those front 3 now, or front 4 should I say, trying to work their way through the S's here. Oh, clip of the curb, the anti-cut curbs, those are brutal around here by Max Benecke, and that's just unsettled his car. And well, it's the problem around this S's section here, Mitchell, because when you're going through the S's, you make one little mistake through there, it just exacerbates and gets worse through each remaining corner in that section.
Absolutely, you need to stay right on line here. Of course, the dirty air is a little bit of an effect, so obviously it's not ideal to follow close, but yeah, you really need to hit your marks, maximize track limits, and just set up for everything you can do.
There's a move to the inside for Sebastian Job on Stuckbeck. So Stuckbeck loses the place. Job on that recovery drive. And look at the damage to his rear wing. That will be affecting his top speed here in this race. And Job is coming under a little bit of pressure, coming back at him, but no. Decide to not go for the move to Stuckbeck. So Job holds on to 17th place ahead of Matthias Stuckbeck. We'll look forward now because Job has got the tricky task of getting ahead of the 2 Altus cars of Marchena and Mangan here, Arjuna.
Yeah, you can see they're all stacked up. There is the chance that Joe could get back up into 13th, which would be a pretty remarkable recovery drive, given that he would have fought his way back from 26th or so position. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Benecke's still trying to close onto Pinto, but with the margin starting to open, you can also see it would be Jordan Caruso that took the points advantage, but only by 12 or 13 points over Charlie Collins.
For the moment, because Caruso is looking keen right now, because with 3 laps to go here in this race, Caruso looking to the inside of Benecke into turn number 1, and he gets the move done. Benecke just kind of assisted him through that one. I wonder if Benecke's tyres are maybe going off a little bit, and he knows that it's not really fruitful to try and fight that one and to keep with Diogo Pinto in front. Is that a little bit of the thought there, Mitchell?
I do think that might be the case. He just knows that he doesn't really have the grip to fight it, so it's just manage the best he can, sit in Jordan's draft. Maybe he could pull him back up towards Diogo, so we'll see what happens.
It is certainly intriguing to see what is happening here. 3 laps to go in this round number 4 of the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Supercup. Pleasure to have you all along here watching this one. Paul Smith, Arjuna Kankapati and Mitchell de Jong here on commentary. And well, the front 3, look at how aggressive the weaving is now for Pinto Arjuna. He is determined to stay at the front here.
Yeah, and I think after being upside down after the drama through the hairpin at Long Beach, Diogo Pinto needed to get right back on the track, and that's exactly what he's done. Was able to get past Charlie Collins from 9th position to 8th to grab the reverse grid pole, a move that has let him control the tempo at the front, run his own speed. We've talked so much about tires. The man that's been able to dictate how much he's using his tires has ultimately been that number 1 for Diogo Pinto.
But is it a case that Caruso, yes, he's been in a slipstream, yes, he's been in a draft, so he's been scrubbing those tyres a little bit, as by being sat there in 4th place for the majority of this race, has actually been conserving his tyres quite a bit, Mitchell, because if you're at the back of a queue of cars, you can be sort of lifting and coasting, not putting as much energy through the brakes into those tyres.
Certainly, and just looking at how this lap is developing, he looks really quick right now. I think this could be quite an exciting end of the race here, even driving away from 3rd place, so we'll see.
As Johan Hart, we're hearing, has got a slow down penalty in this one. Oh, Jamie Fluke making a move up Beneke. Beneke's around. Oh dear, that's not how Fluke will have wanted that one to happen. As he gets himself up into 3rd place and under pressure now from Sanchez. Sanchez looking to the inside and Fluke's backed out of that one. And I can tell you now, Jamie, he will not be happy with himself with that one, and he will hold his hands up to that. He's that type of racer. He is a gentleman. But look at the front here, because Pinto and Caruso absolutely neck and neck through the S's. Caruso looks to have the tyres underneath him, Arjuna.
Yeah, Caruso is looking feisty, and he's been trying to set himself up in the right positions. He'll lunge it to the inside of Pinto, who sees it coming, gives him a wide berth, and tries to set up the momentum out of turn number 11. But it is Jordan Caruso that holds the lead here at the Circuit of the Americas.
So Caruso to the front. Here's a replay in the bottom right-hand corner of what happened between Fluke and Beneke into turn number 1, onto the brakes light. Oh yeah, Fluke's just not alongside enough to make that one stick, as bang of doors between Pinto and Caruso. An aggressive return to the front of the field for Pinto. Caruso won't be too happy with that, but my goodness, your defending champion is defending the lead like his life depends on it here, Mitchell.
You know, he wants those points. He wants those points and a win, so it's his right to race for sure. Man, this is going to be such a good battle to the end. I can't wait to see what's going to happen.
We are going to be seeing the white flag the next time we cross the line. It will be 1 more lap between these two right here. Pinto is the leader. You see him in the bottom left-hand corner. Caruso, the 2nd place driver, in the bottom right-hand box. And well, they are getting themselves focused and concentrated for this 1 more lap of racing between the two of them. Caruso's not close enough to make the move into turn 1, but it's all about this run through this S's section, Arjuna, where he's been so strong in the last couple of laps.
Yeah, and I think Pinto's going to be watching on that run out of turn 10 at the very top of the crest before they head into the middle section of the lap to see how close he is. If he can allow Caruso to have another lunge and set him up with the switchback once again, might be what Pinto wants. If you give Caruso the chance to get the run all the way down the straight, if he gets a good run, Pinto may not get a chance to respond. So much mental warfare and planning going on now. How do they execute?
Caruso aggressive over the curve. That unsettled his car slightly as they head on down into turn number 11. He's not going to make the move here. He wants a slipstream, a lock up from Pinto. That's a mistake. How much of a mistake though? Because he's going to have a big slipstream down this back straight now, and Caruso knows that. He goes very defensive with the weaving down the straight here on this, the final lap of the main race of round number 4 of the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Supercup in towards turn 12. Right onto the brakes they go. Pinto Pinto is back through. Caruso trying the up and under there, trying to get the cut under. It's not worked for him into turn 13. As they head on through this tight and twisty infield section now. Time is running out for Caruso here to get a win. Pinto desperate to hold on to a race victory here for the Team Redline driver from Portugal. Through this triple apex right-hander towards the end of the lap. Caruso's going to make a look at it towards the end here. Possibly a move into the final corner, but you can guess that Pinto will defend that for all it's worth. Through the penultimate corner, one more corner to go. Pinto's going defensive early. He doesn't want to give Caruso the chance. And that means on corner exit, look at that, the celebration. He's won the race here at Circuit the Americas. My goodness, what a sensational end to this race. Diogo Pinto, your main race victor here in the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Supercup, and if my reckoning's correct, that is his first ever main race victory here in the championship. Simply sensational way to finish that one off. Arjuna, that was some great racing between those two.
We call him Captain Consistent, but today we call him the winner as we take our way into the post-race show. It's Diogo Pinto on top for the very first time.
There is your provisional race results then. Pinto from Caruso by a 10.5 between the two of them across the line. Sanchez in third, then in the end it's a win and a third for Sanchez here today. Fluke not able to get the podium in the end, in fourth place ahead of Charlie Collins, Cooper Webster, Johan Harth and Salva Talons, with Violette and Beneke dropping down to 10th place. Kaiser and Campbell will be the next two, with Nessoff, Job with that recovery drive to 14th. Reiner with Marceno, Stuckbeck, Mangan, Kita and Zelensky rounding out the top 20. And the rest come through. Bika, Sunin, Sarika, Tetela and Collins. Bryn Collins, that is your final point scorer, with the rest did not take the finish. Well, we've got to get a breath here in the commentary box, but we'll get to have a word with our drivers in just a moment. But here's what it does to the championship. 10 points now separating Caruso and Collins, but that's a switch between the two of them at the top of the standings. Pinto 49 points behind now, so he is making a comeback here. Job down in fourth place. Will be disappointed with that, with Webster behind him. Zach Campbell down to 8th place in all of this. But Arjuna, you've got our race winner.
I'm very happy. Diogo Pinto, who grabs his first ever victory in a main race. Diogo, I mean, you've been Captain Consistent. Now you grab the checkered flag. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good. Going into this race, I couldn't really practice too much the last 5 days around that. I had maybe 1 hour of practice. Just today I was back at the sim, so it's really insane for me to win. But yeah, there's a lot of things to improve. Quali, we completely missed out on strategy for the outlap. The race, I could have driven much better at the start. The tires were not good enough at the end. So when the race, I can complain. I'm really happy, and yeah, really good comeback from Long Beach.
I was going to say, given that you were upside down at Long Beach, anything would have been an improvement this time out.
Yeah, exactly. It was a really intense race. Funnily enough, on the last lap, I had to do the entire last lap on 16X. So that move I made on Jordan, it was on 16X. So I made it like, I want to win the race. I don't want to finish P2, especially after the mistake I did. I wouldn't bear it. So I just went for it, and yeah, it worked out nicely.
Love to hear you. Congratulations on your very first victory, Diogo. I'm sure the first of many. Let's head our way over, though, to Jordan Caruso, new championship leader who showed your willingness to fight at the end of that main race, Jordan, working your way forward up from 4th to 2nd.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I'm so happy with that. When I was sort of stuck behind Jamie, I felt like, man, my pace is just like, this is where I was going to be for the rest of the race. And I was sort of happy with that. But then I got a really good run going into the hairpin, made the move on Jamie, same thing with Max. And then with Diogo, I mean, I would have loved to fight harder for the win, but I had 14X and we already got a 4X when we sort of like in that corner after the back straight. So I just didn't want to risk that. But yeah, no. I mean, I would have loved to get the win, but really happy with the round overall.
He had 16X, just so you know. You were both dancing on that limit. In terms, though, of how you've been running this season, how are you feeling right now? Because things have been looking great. Qualifying, again, looking very strong, and that really sets the tone for the rest of the racing.
Yeah, I mean, if you told me that like going into the season I'd be leading the championship after 4 rounds, I probably wouldn't believe you. But I mean, myself and the team have been working really hard to stay on top of everything. My quality paces looked really strong, so I mean, I'm just looking to be consistent, just keep sort of banging out those quali laps and keep trying to bag points. Still a long championship, anything can happen. So yeah.
Congratulations, Jordan. We'll head over, though, to Alejandro Sanchez, who talks to us, unfortunately, for the 3rd time today. So I'm sorry about that, Alejandro. But overall, you must be feeling pretty pleased with how things went. You got the pole position, you got the sprint race victory, and then a podium in the main race as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind talking to you 3 times every weekend, but it doesn't always go my way, you know. Super happy with the way we drove today. There was some contact with Lasse. I need to check it out again. I don't know if it was my fault, but overall super happy. Not so happy with the pace in the feature. I had some massive understeer. I tried to save tires, but so was everybody else. So we just struggled at the end, and we couldn't quite catch up to the leading group. But yeah, I got quite lucky with the incidents today, that in a manner that they all occurred in front of me, so I could avoid them quite easily. But yeah, super happy with a win, a pole, and a P3. It's like I wouldn't have thought that this was going to be the result coming into it, definitely.
Hey, you make your own luck, and all of the 4 Apex Racing Team drivers finish up inside of the top 10 in today's feature. For you working outside of the Corby facility, I want to ask you, what's it like with Jamie and Johan, for example, being able to sit next to one another and drive, and for you being slightly more separated from them?
It's all right. We don't really communicate during the races, since we all are on different channels. We just get our respective spotters to get across the message. But yeah, it doesn't really matter to me in the races, and not in practice as well, because we are all on Discord and talking to each other. So it's like I'm there, but not really being there.
Well, we'll see how the rest of the season plays out for you and the rest of the Corby crew. Congratulations on a great result today, Alejandro. We'll see you at the Red Bull Ring.
Thank you very much.
Well, you mentioned it there, Arjuna. We head on across the Atlantic to the Styrian Mountains in Austria. April the 1st. No, it's no April Fools. It is the Red Bull Ring for round number 5 of the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Supercup in 2023. Mitchell, I mean, thank you very much for joining us here. What did you think of the racing, more importantly, and how was it for you on this side of the wheel?
Yeah, it was certainly a different experience being over here. But yeah, certainly a wonderful race to spectate, be a part of, and that was some good racing. I was super impressed with Pinto and Caruso, that battle at the end, and looking forward to the next ones.
And Arjuna, 10 drivers in the end, finished on 16 instant points. That just shows you how fine the margins are here in this championship.
And despite that, it feels like in some ways, Paul, that everyone's just breathed a little bit. We haven't had the disqualifications. We've had a round of the championship without too much drama at choke point or one another. And we head out of, I think, the Circuit of the Americas with a lot of drivers feeling some momentum is finally on their side as we get to the halfway mark, get closer to the halfway mark of the championship.
Well, as we head on out of the Buzz post-race show, I want to thank Arjuna Kankapati and Mitchell de Jong, and myself, Paul Smith, and from everybody here at iRacing and at Porsche. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you join us in 2 weeks' time for the 5th round of the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Supercup. But from everybody here, it's good night.